It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. And we had some stuff to talk about. Well, first, one of the things we talked about was the McDonald's employees who were being granted a dress down day. Yep. Outside of their casual, normal, everyday uniform, they were allowed a dress down day. And guess what that day was? Pajama day. Yep. They were allowed to dress down in their pajamas. Yep. And the internet went quite crazy. Yep. Part of the talk was, hey, sorry, this is a place of business. I don't want nobody serving me food in their pajamas. And they're being paid to work. Well, the other side said, well, listen, it's not a 5-star restaurant. What's going on here? What do you care about? As long as they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves, bring it on. Bring on the fun. Bring on the pajamas. As long as they got my food order right, as long as they're not overcharging me, as long as they bring me my correct change, I am fine. Well, the Do Time crew and the Do Time viewers said, absolutely not. I don't need them rolling up out of the bed in their clothes, maybe with blood in their eyes and not brushing their teeth, and that's the way they're going to serve me my food. If they have ever wanted to serve me again, it would have to be in a uniform. Yeah, that was the general consensus of everyone here on this Do Time with Pastor Steph. No, it's just a little too much. Plus, I am, going extremely to the point of who set this arrangement up. I don't know if that's in our best interest. Yep. Setting us up for failure because you could not go anywhere else and work in your pajamas. I'm sorry. Even if they had I saw a post of a friend of mine, and she had where they all dressed up in some kind of Christmas gear. Well, it wasn't their pajamas, that's for sure. So they had a fun day at work, and I've seen them do it. Like they have Halloween or whatever, and everybody dresses up in a character and things like that. But it is not your pajamas. But guess what? If you tell somebody that they can dress up on Halloween because y'all having a Halloween party, who's to say that it won't be their pajamas? So, but as long as it's not in no restaurant, sorry. But the highlight of the morning was the video we saw. I believe he was 10 years old, and he had a little sister, and they had already had a scare with him where he tried to put a pillow, tried to smother her over. It's a little baby girl. And this time his attempt succeeded. He put her in the microwave, turned the microwave on, and cooked his sister. And they sentenced him to 10 years in juvenile detention and 1 year post, some like a parole, probation type of thing. And this here, this really kind of pulls open all of the or pulls together all of the conversations we've been having over the past couple of weeks. What do we do with these children? We have opted to not give our children to God, and they are getting worse and worse. They showed a snapshot of him as he was, I guess, being arrested or whatever, and he looked, mad as a bulldog. He was mad, mad, mad. And it reminded me of the Martin episode where Mad Dog No Good. He was mad. And part of my thought was, are you angry because now you have to, somebody's punishing you for the way you feel? We talked about the fact that there were many, many, many reasons why he could have come to that. Why did he get to that point? That's the question. And we're not saying by far that it was correct for him to do what he did. But, erring on the side of prevention, this is something that we need to do. Are we watching our children? When he made the first attempt to smother his sister, why was he possibly left alone? Was it underestimated of what he really felt? Well, baby, what a dire mistake. And we really, really, really have to pay quite a bit of attention to what these kids are feeling, what people are feeling. They have lost their minds. The enemy, the word of God says he has come to kill, steal, and destroy, and he is doing that extra well. Oh, he has mastered this thing. And do we want them, our children, to be vulnerable, completely vulnerable to the hands and the wiles of the enemy? That's the question. Are we protecting our children so that they don't get to this point? Are we planning before God's plans? Are we planning outside of God's plans? So in other words, was this a brand new relationship, a brand new marriage, a brand new baby in the mix? And he felt, it was voiced that he felt that he was being ignored. We can't dictate or determine how a person feels. No matter what our best attempt, we cannot tell people how to feel. And that is one of the things that we must consider. How did he feel? What got him to that point? Because if they don't get down and dissect, he's only 10. If he does 10 years, he's going to only be 20. That means what is he going to do when he gets out at 20 years old? He'll be back before the probation clears. So come on, my people. Let's get this job done correctly. There is no handbook to being a parent, but the Bible can be the first steps in figuring this thing out. All righty. That's how we spent our Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Well, today is Wow Wednesday. It is the last day of the year. It is the last Wednesday of the year. There will be no more 2025. God spares life. And we are going out with a bang. Last week, I hope you were with us because, baby, it was quite a conversation. 3 hours long. We had a video, and we didn't even get to our second video. We only stuck to our first video. Well, Vivian is all ready to bring us our socially conscious segment. So put your seatbelt on, get ready for the ride. Go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Yes, with that seatbelt on. Go tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's due time when Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right.
Did you know clove oil is one of the best herbs for healthy gums and mouth infections? Did you know warm lime water on an empty stomach dissolves mucoid plaque in the intestinal wall? 1 teaspoon of ginger lowers inflammation and removes fat from the liver. Did you know kale has more calcium than milk, more iron than beef, and 10 times more vitamin C than spinach? Papaya seeds kill intestinal parasites and reduces bloating. 1 apple gives you more energy.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and it is the last Wednesday of 2025. Welcome, and welcome again. You know, although I don't celebrate Happy New Year and all of that kind of stuff, I do celebrate the fact that God has safely brought us through the calendar year. Yes. God is amazing. We didn't have to make it 365 days. He kept us, and I'm celebrating that. All right. So we got a check-in from our Due Time viewers, and you know how we do. Please check in because I know you're out there, but unless you say hello to me, I don't know you're out there because you got to check in. I don't get to see it the way you see it. So I am definitely giving a shout out to our girl, Ketty. Good morning, Ketty. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We got to check in from our boy, Serge. Hey, Serge. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a check-in from a Beastie, and I'm just going to stop there. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We got a check-in from, was that Miguel? Good morning, Miguel. Thank you so much for joining us. My iPad has not caught up with us yet. We got a check-in from our girl, Tamika. Good morning, Tamika. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a check-in from Miss Grace this morning. Good morning, Miss Grace. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope you are wrapped up because it's cold outside. Baby, it's cold outside. We must say good morning to the ladies that make sure we are held down each and every day. Let's say good morning to our girl, Shantice. Hey, Shantice. Let's say good morning to our girl, Anika. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much for holding it down. Now, Vivian, let's say good morning.
Good morning. Happy Wow Wednesday. How are you, Pastor Steph?
You gotta smile like me, Viv. I'm celebrating the fact that we are at our 365th day. God has kept us.
Amen.
God has kept us.
Amen.
Amen. God has kept us, and glad to see you this morning. Thanking God that you're on with us for our last Wednesday. And you know what I like to ask you, girl, what you got for us today?
All right. Today on Socially Conscious, we are starting off with an update on these flu numbers and these flu cases. They're saying in New York alone, we have reached our highest level in more than 20 years with over 71,000 confirmed cases in a single week. It's really sounding like back in COVID times when I used to give these updates every week on these COVID numbers. Now we have the flu cases jumping up. They're saying this is a 38% jump from the week before. Hospitalizations are up more than 60%, overwhelming hospitals and long-term care facilities across the state. Nationally, the CDC reports over 3,000 flu-related deaths so far this season alone, including multiple deaths among children as flu activity continues to rise across the country. Health officials say influenza A is driving the surge, spreading quickly and causing more severe illness, especially in children, seniors, and people with underlying health conditions. With flu season expected to peak in January and in February, because remember, we're only just now really getting into winter. We still have a long ways to go. So doctors are warning the worst may still be ahead and continuing to urge vaccinations and basic preventions to help slow the spread. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze, wash your hands, basic things that can just help literally save a life, because they have 3,000 flu-related deaths so far this season. So just make sure you're taking these precautions and keeping yourself and your family safe. Next, we have a quick story that Disney has confirmed that Hulu, the app, will shut down sometime in 2026 as a standalone service. All Hulu shows and movies will be fully merged into Disney Plus, meaning viewers will no longer use a separate Hulu app. The move will also change subscriptions and billing, so make sure you are on the lookout for that. If you have Hulu and Disney Plus, they will be changing their subscription and their billing prices. With Disney becoming the main platform, some subscribers are already pushing back, saying they're concerned about losing Hulu's separate experience and how content will be managed under Disney Plus. But soon we will only have the one app. Hulu is going bye-bye. And now we have our wow story of the week, which is a listener submitted story. So in Polk County, Florida, a man allegedly killed his wife and shot his 13-year-old stepdaughter after an argument over Monday Night Football between the San Francisco 49ers and the Indianapolis Colts. Police say the argument started when the wife asked him to turn off the game. The situation escalated and the wife was shot and killed inside the home. A younger child ran to a neighbor's house to call 911. Another child was found safe in their crib, and the stepdaughter was shot in the face and shoulder, but survived and is currently hospitalized in stable condition, thank God. Authorities say she begged for her life during the attack. After the shooting, the suspect drove to his father's home, where he ultimately took his own life as deputies attempted to arrest him. Investigators also found a note from the wife urging him to get help for substance abuse. Officials are calling the teen's survival a miracle, and the children are now in the care of relatives. But this has been Vivian with Socially Conscious, giving you the news that we are following. And remember, if you have any wild stories you would like to submit, please feel free to direct message me on Facebook. My username there is Vivian BM. And come back every Wednesday to find out if your story has been chosen. Thank you, as always, to our loyal viewers and listeners. And thank you, Pastor Steph.
Girl, these stories are getting wilder and wilder. Yeah. I have a video that I came across the other day, and I'm gonna see if Shantice can do something with it while we have everybody on, and we'll do it like a little in a commercial, because it's gonna go right along with what you just got finished giving us. Just leaves you speechless. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you. All right, we got our men joining us in a little while, so let's get this underway. Let's get our lady Tamika on the screen. Let's get our girl Shantice up here. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Doing well.
Good. Thank you for joining us. We got a check-in from Sosa. Good morning. Thank you so much for checking in. Hope you hang out with us today. All right, Vivian is giving us an update on these flu numbers that are through the roof. 71,000 cases confirmed in 1 week in New York alone, Viv?
Yes, since last week.
Wow, which is a 38% jump and 60% jump in the hospitals, and over 3,000 flu-related deaths nationwide. And this unfortunately includes our children. Well, the influenza A is definitely they're concerned about our children, our seniors, and those with pre-existing conditions, and they are looking for this to spike in January and February. Well, Lady Tamika, what we're talking about today regarding this flu thing, Vivian is still saying that they're telling us to cover our mouths, wash our hands, plug our ears. Like, why do we still need reminders?
All right, sorry about that.
Okay.
But yeah, ever since the pandemic, New Yorkers should have been wise, because every other, we had, COVID in other countries and things like that, but New York had its own strain. A lot of people don't realize that, but New York had its own strain, which is why they had the test and trace scheme that came about. Their job was to make sure that New Yorkers were not dying in their homes. And you would think that by this time, that we would have it all together, that we would know to wash our hands, that we would know to not, cough out in public. But it seems like ever since the pandemic, I see more and more, and we're not talking about children, we're talking about grown folks that open mouth cough in a public setting. They are going here and there, touching whatever it is that they want to touch, going wherever it is that they want to touch, licking your paper bags, your shopping bags as they hand them to you, or, you need some documents, they got, strummed through it, and, and it's just like, the exchange of stuff. I don't fault anybody who wears a mask, in the fact that they're trying to prevent you're sitting on a bus, somebody's standing over you and they coughing right in your face. There's just, it does not surprise me. We got to learn. New York, we got to do a lot better.
All righty. We got this, last week, Shanti, she was saying, wow, we still reminded to cover our mouths. Wow, we still reminded them.
We have that one. Let's go back to those commercials. Where are they?
I don't know, girl. I do not know. Shantice, what say you? They're still telling us to mask up, cover our mouths, wash our hands.
I just said the other night, this is why I'm not quick to run outside. Because outside is full of nothing but people who are committing crimes and spreading germs. Why does this have to still be a PSA? Especially since COVID. Why does someone have to? And everyone want to claim that they are grown. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown woman. How, sir, ma'am, when you still don't know how to properly blow your nose? You don't know how to cover your mouth. When you just walking in the street, like you just own the block. Like no one else has access to this air but you. It doesn't matter. It's just me. Oh, I know I don't have nothing. It's to the point where if I'm walking on the sidewalk and someone's walking towards me, I immediately get in the street. And after a while, I was like, God, I hope I'm not making it seem like I think they're the outbreak monkey or something. But I just ain't got time to care about nobody's feelings like that. Because when I'm at home sick, Their feelings gonna be their feelings. Sick or well, their feelings gonna be their feelings. They still gonna be walking around coughing without covering, sneezing without covering, wiping the nose and then touching the poles. It's too stressful. It becomes a hostile situation. And because I cannot walk around with the sink and the soap, because the sanitizer just mentally is not doing it as, you know, the job isn't executing for me as much mentally anymore. So it's like, you know, I'd rather stay at home. But it's sad because I can guarantee you, as much as they love to claim, oh, it's the kids, it's the adults. Because I can guarantee you, if the adults also taught the kids how to properly listen, you sneeze, go ask the teacher, then you go wash your hands, or I'm sending you to school with the wet wipes that's specifically for your hand, and you know to use it and stuff. You train these kids, they'll learn how to properly conduct themselves when they're sneezing and coughing and all of that. But because the parents don't want to learn, now the kids don't want to. It's like,
well, remember, you have no feelings until you leave home.
And then there goes that theory.
All right, Viv, you were giving the numbers like you said. You know, I remember when you used to give the COVID numbers and they were crazy. This is just like that.
Yes. I don't know what it is, because people ain't never been covering their mouths when they cough and sneeze. People always been blowing their nose without a tissue onto the ground in the street. This stuff has always been happening, so I don't know what it is. I really don't. I feel like maybe our immune systems are weaker because the food is killing us. There's something in the waters. Like, all this stuff going on is just making us sick. So our bodies just cannot fight off the flu like it used to. It has to be more than just people are not washing their hands and covering their mouths, because they've never been doing that. So I think it's something else. I think it's something else.
All righty. Maybe you're right. Tamika says wiping your nose and covering the poles. That's a COVID theme. All righty. We got a check-in from Auburn. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Happy morning to you. Again, like you all have said, as we're walking through the streets, you can literally hear when someone sneezes, and that was not covered. And I was walking the other day and walking towards somebody, and she sneezed, and I was like, oh, I got to get up out of here. And I just quickly went across the street. And we know the germs just are everywhere, but good Lord, I'm like, come on now, stop. You know better. But you know what? I went to the emergency room a couple of weeks ago, and I've been there a couple of times this year already. This time, when I tell you, oh my gosh, I could not believe the amount of people. I could not believe the amount of people just waiting for triage. When I got in the back, so when Vivian, you talk about that hospitalization thing, in the ER, you couldn't even move. It was like a maze for these people to even get around, the workers to even get around. And not only are you dealing with flu, but everything else that comes along with, just being ill. And I wasn't there for the flu. And I give God thanks that I emerged. I didn't get sick, or whatever the case is. But yeah, the hospitals are looking crazy and crazy and crazy. So
and let's they are overcrowded. They're so overcrowded. The beds are like stacked and this close together, and there's this is what I'm talking about. Yes, curtain dividing us. Yes, I'm telling you, I could not believe it. You had the curtains, and then at the foot of the beds, there was a row all the way around. They had people outside of the X-ray rooms, the CAT scan rooms. They had people everywhere. There were beds everywhere. And I'm sitting there saying, oh my God, get me from down here. Oh my God, it was, I couldn't believe it. Like I said, I was there twice this year already. It was nothing like this. I don't think I've ever seen it this bad.
And anybody that knows me knows I done spent my time in the ER.
No, was only one other time it was that bad. That's when your bonus son got on the phone with
yes. Yes. But baby, it's bad. So when Vivian talks about the hospitalizations, you better believe that's real. That is so real. All righty. We've got Disney, who is now hosting Hulu, has been hosting Hulu for quite a while now. They've been hosting Hulu for probably about a year, if not more. And they will not, Hulu will not have its own app anymore because they are officially owned by Disney. And they have been telling us for a while, because I brought this story back some time ago, that they were going to get rid of the Hulu app. It's still not gone, but they say that they will be getting rid of it in 2026, sometime in 2026, and they will be changing their prices. But people are concerned about whether the content is going to be handled the same. What say you, Lady Shantice?
Well, I haven't been going to the Hulu app in a while, especially since they've merged with Disney. They haven't really had especially since they've merged with Disney. I've been watching New York Undercover and you can watch Power and Steve Harvey show and all of that right through the Disney app. So I haven't been going directly to the Hulu app. So I guess the biggest adjustment would be just making sure you still want to pay whatever the subscription is a month. Seeing how much that's going to be. If it's going to be ridiculous, are they going to be like Netflix? Every time you turn around, they're going up another $1, $2, or $3. Are they going to try to stay, balanced so that you would want to keep them? Because a lot of people, I keep telling people, Tubi is coming up, Tubi rising, and considering Disney has ads too, you can go ahead and charge a lot if you want to. You realize you're losing subscribers because Tubi is coming up with, a lot of the nostalgia nostalgic content, plus their own, Tubi originals and so on and so forth. You can play around with the price if you want. You look up and see your numbers then drop, then, it's not like you're ad free. So I think the biggest thing would just be the subscription price that everyone, like Vivian said, everyone have to keep their eye out for it and ensure that they still want to pay that. Because they nothing worse with thinking you paying $10 a month for a streaming service and then you get your bill and it's $18.99 or $25 something. You're like, hold it, let me cancel this.
All righty. Vivian, what do you think of this merger / combination? Do you think that it's going to be the same?
Yeah, I think it'll be the same. I wish that more of these streaming platforms would merge because they ain't really got nothing that the other one don't already have, and we paying all these different prices for the same thing. So I hope that all these other places, all these other apps decide to merge together too, and just make things a little bit cheaper. Because I know once they announce their prices, it's going to be a little bit higher than what we're already paying. But if we could just get some more mergers so that we're not flipping through this one and flipping through that one to find the same things. Because Steve Harvey, the Martin Show, all these shows is on Netflix, aren't they? Or BET or one of them. They all have the same thing.
On several. Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand why we have to pay all these different prices and y'all are not offering us anything different. The only app that I see that's really different than the rest is maybe Apple TV. But then they don't really have anything, at least that piques my interest. So let's all merge together and just pay one price, please.
Yeah, I think the difference is the originals. So like if you have Netflix originals, Disney originals, TV originals, like you said, other than that, all of the syndicated shows, now it's just a matter of do I want to watch it with the ads or without the ads?
Absolutely. Tamika.
You save the best for last. Doesn't watch Hulu at all. At any rate, I think about all these streaming services, and when I go to other places, sometimes I get so confused. Like, you got to go through this to watch that. This one will have that, and sometimes it's 2 or 3. Of the streaming services that have what you need. You might find it on Netflix. If you don't have it on Netflix, you might be able to search someplace else. I'm a fan for Tubi all the time, because Tubi is free, and so how many more people are you losing? Every time I turn around, you're going up and down, up and down, up and down, and that was one of the reasons why we didn't keep a specific subscription, because, we don't know what the bill is going to be. If we've got the resources, who wants, $1 for one person might be good, but for somebody else, it might be a strain, and so you got to be careful, Then the other thing is, okay, fine, you change things, and then I pay for the service, and then I'm looking at garbage. Who wants to do that? That's the other thing.
Right.
Everything that I was, I was used to watching this, and now everything that I'm looking for, or anything that I might want to find, I'm not interested in. So I might not keep your service anyway.
We got a check in from Miss Herlima. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Day to you as well. Anika says Disney's lost a lot of subscribers with their support of Trump. So I think they're trying to push people to Disney. Next, they'll remove bundles. All right. So I pulled up my account. Disney, $18.99. I've got Pure Flix, $14.99. BET, $10.99. Hulu, $11.99. Yes, they're double charging me. Now you can clearly see that I'm the same person, same account, but you're double charging me. I got Peacock for $10.99. We've got HBO. I think that's what, at $17.99, $18.99 now?
It's now $19 almost.
19, okay. And we've got what's the other one? Netflix for $27.21. That's what we're paying a month. And like Vivian said, I could turn on three of those and find Martin, 3 of those and find Steve Harvey. So, first of all, Hulu's charging me twice. Disney's charging me twice. So, as of today, I'm out of there. I'm definitely going and I'm canceling it because I thought that they were going to, because they said a while ago they were going to cancel it. So I didn't bother. I was like, no. That means that you're getting, what, $20 from me? This is crazy. Will they have the same, the same? I think so. I don't think they're going to lose quality, because again, they're going to try to stay within, all of the, with all the, I just read the prices to you, they're going to try to stay within the competition. And like Shanti said, the only thing that's different is when you have like those, and we pay for Prime. We pray for Prime as well. So, how much is left that we don't have in this house? So this is crazy. They're really making their money. And there were some times where I have flipped through every one of them and found nothing of interest. Right. So they're definitely making their money. So you really need to be aware of what you're paying and make your decisions wisely. Like you all have said, Tubi's coming up. If you can stand the commercials, then you'll live with it. Other than that, you just gonna have to pay the price, and they're making their money. You better believe they're making their money. Serge says we might as well bring cable TV back because the amount we pay for is the same difference from the time you have to get all the subscriptions. You're right, Serge, because we pay for cable. Jesus.
I have nothing on it.
Yes, I forgot all about that. With our cable subscription, we get Stars. What else?
Stars and Stars.
Okay, so it's like, oh well, this is crazy. Oh, all right. Shantice.
Yes.
Do I want to play this video before or after? Because this is, you know what? Let's play it now. Before we do the wild story.
Oh my God. Oh my.
So Vivian, I saw this the other day and I banked it. But I had no idea that you were coming today with this story of the man whose wife asked him to turn off Sunday night football. He killed her, shot the daughter in her face and shoulder, left the child in the crib, and the other child ran to a neighbor's house to go get help. They found a letter later on that was asking him to, the wife wrote to him, asking him to please get help for substance abuse. This is how serious. Now, if you noticed in that video, nobody was alone.
Right.
Nobody was alone. So it didn't matter that other people were there, but because your team wasn't winning, that was the caption. Because their team wasn't winning, this is what they did. This is how serious a football is. Vivian, you got first dibs on this one, girl.
This needs to be like spades. No more spades. No more football in the house, because this is ridiculous. And so many of the videos is like, Dad. So you're doing this in front of your children.
Yes.
And don't have no problems about it. No. When you get this invested in your team, you need to find another hobby, because that ain't it. Football ain't it for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, Lady Tamika, does Brother Al watch sports like that?
No, I'm the football fan. he's a basketball fan. Now, neither one of us have ever destroyed a television. No, I have a specific throw pillow that I throw at the TV. Little itty bitty thing. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. But my thing is, when I'm looking at these people and their anger at the television, it is deliberate. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like you threw something that whoops, you took the television out. If your first hit didn't, land it well, you went again at a second time. I'm looking at this guy. I'm looking at the guy who not only broke the television, but broke whatever that was on the side. Mm-hmm. That was, it had nothing to do with that. And then somebody said, hit it again. Really? Like, what is wrong with you? So my thing is, we as women, we often say the worst time to get in contact with your man is when he's watching the game. But this kind of retaliation that you not only injure me, or take me out, but you go for the child who has nothing to do with this. Oh, that's way, and again, she knew it already because she wrote him a letter. Get yourself in check. Liquor and games, unfortunately from the realm that I know, they go hand in hand, and they shouldn't. Because now we see what happens. And I'm just looking at that's not even your television, or that's not even your television. You destroyed somebody else's television. Are you out of your mind?
Shantice.
I would just like to say I'm very disappointed in us. Very disappointed that we were part of this reel. But a lot of times we get that upset because we bet, and the team that we bet on to win us the money have lost. And a lot of times we didn't have the money to bet. So now not only did we lose the money that we bet with, but now we destroyed the furniture. Like, you can just go to Walmart or Best Buy and get another TV right now. The rage that comes, I don't understand. Listen, I'm not that way about sports, but I'm like that way, everyone has things that they like to watch on TV that they're like, oh, you hear them yelling at the TV, whatever, blah, 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 blah. When it gets to where I have to now dismantle whatever, because it's gotten me that upset. And, it's one thing which is sick enough when you're arguing with a person and now you get so enraged that you put your hand on the person. When you start getting mad at things that can't talk back, like, the TV didn't lose, sir. It wasn't the TV. It was the game that's playing on the TV. So my question is, if you were at the stadium, if you had a chance to go down to the field, would you have that same energy? Would you step to every player and spit in their face, slap them, punch them, cuss them out? Would you do all that you did to the TV to them? It's scary.
It depends
and I can't even imagine. Like, we saw the look on a lot of their faces. There's no way I could ever watch TV with you again. I don't care what we could be watching the 10 Commandments. I don't care what, I'm never watching anything with you ever again. Nothing. You can never get me. Don't send me no videos on Instagram or nothing. I'm not ever watching anything that I know you've watched already, because you watching things gets you like that. And I can't even imagine how that 13-year-old baby felt. She was pleading for her life. That she, like everyone in this video, she watched the progression of him just sitting there watching this thing, and mommy said, turn it off or whatever, and you just got to the point where you lost it on mommy, and now you coming for me. I can't even imagine. Look at how the adults were just sitting there like, what?
In pure shock.
Right. And now you have a baby who, especially if you don't know what it is to be in a hostile situation real quick, you don't know what you still in shock about someone even being that enraged about something that's on TV, even if he didn't touch mom. So that it's horrible. Everybody, and again, like we've been saying this week, and like we always say, Billy was throwing that pillow at that TV when he was 2.
Yep.
Rick threw that pillow or something at the TV when a show didn't come on, it was canceled because of a game or something, when Power didn't get played for the consecutive week, or something happened. No one just wakes up and starts destroying the TV for whatever reason. That's scary, and it's sad, and I really feel bad for that baby.
Miss Helena says, we grew up on commercials. Give me free TV even though I don't watch it. All righty. We have a check-in from Big Daddy Rod. It says, sick people, sick society. Serge says, if this is a prank, it's not funny. Do you know how much these TVs cost nowadays? Let someone I know who came to my house break my TV. They better hope, one, they have the money to replace 2. We have a check-in from Albi. Tamika is a Dallas Cowboys fan. If she breaks our TV, that's Al. Albino. You know what? And that staff would comfort. Sir says if they have life insurance, because I'm going to need that. You know, when I saw this the other day, I had to play it like 4 times. I could not believe what I was looking at. I remember I have an uncle, and when the basketball game would come on, and when the wrestling would come on, he would cry. He would be so upset. He'd be crying about it, screaming and crying. But since then, I had never seen any level of upset or rage, and definitely nothing like I saw. First of all, you have some people who broke their own TV, and you have some of them who were at someone else's space and they broke their TV, all because you could not get your way. Now, you have this escalation of murder. Because someone asked you to turn off the Sunday night football game, then you know what? Kill, steal, and destroy. This is the epitome of it, where you are so out of control that you kill your wife, stepdaughter, you shoot at her, shoot her in the face, and then you cowardly go and kill yourself. That's always the cowardly move. You know, you're a punk. That's all you are, because you can't stand to deal with the consequence of, you know, whatever's going on. But, you know, I'm with Viv. Forget the spades game. I didn't play cards for over a decade, because it just got too real. And there was no money on the table. And I was like, if somebody's offering up their firstborn, I said, y'all help me with this. They said, no, y'all got this game. I'm serious. It was just too much. It was just too much. It was way too much. I was like, you know what? That's all right. I don't need to play. And no, thank you. You know, so this puts the spades table to shame, honestly. And I like Shanti said, you wouldn't have to worry about me. Forget about watching anything with you. I wouldn't even be in the same room with you anymore. If somebody said Shantice was going to be there, and that's what she does, like, you know what, that's all right, I'll stay home. Y'all invite me when Shantice won't be there. Because to me, you could have, if you had a gun, I would not put it past you to shoot. The only reason why you punched the TV, you broke it with a chair, you threw something at it, was because you did not have a firearm. You had that, it would have been over. Oh my goodness. Pardon the curses. I completely forgot about the curse words in it. Please.
I think the actions overshadow the cussing.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think, yeah, I was, you know, I heard a couple of, you know, things, but the thing that really got to me was when she was like, Dad, calm down. That was the first time she didn't see her father like that.
And if she had a gun, she probably would have shot him, because she was mad. Like, she bought the TV. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. So thank you, ladies, for Vivian, for your socially conscious segment. Thank you, ladies, for indulging me on that. We have our men in the room. But before we bring our men in the room, last week we had a video that was submitted by Pastor KL. And he too busy typing in the chat room. He ain't on the screen. We firing him. And before we pull any of the guys up, we want to play this video again. You know, this does have some language in it, not cursing, but some language that, you know, we're gonna find a way to bleep this stuff out so we can play it clearly. But in between times, we're going to show this video. Please pay attention so we can comment.
If a woman was to have 5 kids by 5 different men and she can't afford it, they're going to give her food stamps, WIC, Section 8, welfare, child support. Government's going to give her everything that she needs. If a man has those same 5 kids by 5 different women and he can't afford it, they're going to put his black ass in jail. Why would you put the nigga in jail? You need to put the nigga in a job. So you mean to tell me that you're going to put him in jail because he can't pay child support, so while he's in jail, he's going to fall behind more on child support instead of putting him in a job? But you won't put her in the job, you just give her everything. So you didn't want the money, you just wanted the nigga in jail? You still not getting child support? Hello? But if the government say that you got to have a job for you to get those benefits, y'all man, oh, destination, one in the nation. Let me get this straight. If a woman was to...
All righty. He said a mouthful. Let's bring on our men. Let's bring on Brother Al. We got good morning. Let's bring on Brother Ainsley. Good morning. And
Good morning. What up? What up?
Hey, good morning.
Top of the morning.
We'll wait
Morning.
for Pastor Leal to finish typing so he can get on. So, welcome again to Wow Wednesday, my guys. Thank you so much for getting up this morning and joining us. We had an exciting week last week. Oh, he don't want me talking about him no more. So Pastor KL is coming up in the room. So Shanti's get him on his screen so we can say good morning.
He's not ready yet. Pastor Kale.
Okay, well, whenever he's ready. Thank you so much for joining us for our Wow Wednesday. Joining the ladies, since we will not have our men on Friday because of the short week. We're inviting you to join us today. So
I don't
we
hear
have
Pastor Steph.
You don't?
You have to go out and come back in.
Tell them to go out. Yes, thank you. Kick them out, Shanti's. Kick them out.
Can you hear me?
Say go out, come back in.
Yeah, we heard you, man.
You.
we heard you and we did see you, but
Good morning, Pastor KL.
good morning, Santa.
Watch him out. Watch him out.
What up, bro? What up, dude?
What
Alrighty.
it do, bro?
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Pastor Jeff is back. So let's see if we can get him to join the party.
Hello. How you
Good
doing?
morning.
Morning.
What up, bro?
All righty.
All right.
So we have a gentleman who he said a mouthful, thanks to Pastor KL who submitted the video. He said a mouthful. And I would love to talk about, you know, what your thought is behind what he said. So, being that we have the guests in the room, we'll start with our brother Al first to give him first dibs on this particular comment.
Of course, you'll start me first. It's the last day of the year. Happy New Year. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob.
All right.
And Jacob had 12 sons for real. And these were the children of Israel.
You are going to be banned going forward.
Woo! Had to get that out for the last day of the year. Had to get that out. But as far as that comment, you know, I'm kind of riding on it because you know you got to take responsibility, and I'm speaking on that from experience. You know, everybody here know me. I got 4 kids, 4 baby mamas. You know, I dealt myself that hand. I should have been more careful on what I was doing. Just running out there, running rapid, and these are the repercussions. Now these kids got to be taken care of. You know, so I think, you know, they should at least try to help you. Okay, listen, we understand such stuff, but these kids got to be taken care of. Dude, I don't think putting you in jail, okay, suspend my license or whatever, but going to jail is like the brother said. You put me in jail, okay, the kids are still not getting taken care of. So what did you accomplish by putting me in jail? I don't think you should put me in jail, but I think you should give me a incentive. Okay, you know what? We're going to suspend your driver's license. And I know you say, okay, well, Dad, I got to drive to work. Get on the bus or train then. This going to push you to say, you know what? I got to take care of what I need to do. So you need something to make you say, okay, I got to take care of what I need to do. But going to jail, I think, is not a good idea because the kids are still not getting taken care of with me behind bars.
Okay, all right. Lady Tamika, what say you about this thought that this gentleman has?
Well, you got to look at it from, she can't be put in jail. She got 5 children. Literally, she's feeding. She's, most of the time, in most cases, these children are given to the mother. And with that being the case, and the table turned and him having all these children at the same, he shouldn't be put in jail. You've got to find a way to support your children, especially if these children are in your home.
I keep having problems.
You should be able to, take care of your children. I wouldn't say jail should be an incentive, but something to keep you, with that mindset that, you've got a family to support.
Okay. Brother Ainsley, what say you about this comment?
To me, the brother's speaking some truth to it. I think we all agree, like, jail doesn't seem to be the answer. But to me, the overall problem is there's an attack on the family, particularly the black family, to keep the man out of the house. So this is just set up it coincide along with that, put a man in jail because there's no support going in no matter how you look at it if he's in jail. And just for the heck of it, all right, for the times that the brothers are the provider and the woman got to pay support. How many women been put in jail for this same thing? So to me, it's set up for, it's set up against the family, particularly black family, and keep the man out of the house, so to speak. So.
Okay. Vivian, what say you?
I mean, I don't know that to be true, because I know a couple of men who were on child support. Some paid and some didn't, and they weren't put in jail. So I don't really know a lot on that aspect when it comes to men being put in jail. I would think that if he had custody of the child, of the 5 kids, and the woman did it would be the same. If it's not, then I can understand the anger towards, the biasness of it all. But I don't really know it to be that. And if you are a man with 5 kids by 5 different women and you need help finding the job, there are things out there. I don't think they're just going to throw you in jail. There are things out there that's, available to you to find a job so you can pay your child support. But I mean, I just don't understand it to be that way. So.
Okay. Yes, they will put in, especially in certain states. They will put you in jail. It's not big in here in New York, but in other states, that is something that they will do. As a matter of fact, Eddie Levert's son was in jail for child support when he passed away. That's why he was in jail, because they had him for a lack of child support. So there are, men who do go to jail. Like I said, it's not a huge thing in New York, but in New York, the biggest thing they'll do is suspend your driver's license. They'll take your passport, things like that. But they'll put you in jail in certain states for sure. Pastor Jeff, good morning. I hope you're settled now. I know you were having some difficulty. What say you?
Yeah, well, I experienced all of that. I got my license suspended. I got put in jail, for that, back in the 80s. And it was wrong because I'd always took care of my child, but my daughter's mother got angry that I was getting married to another woman. And she took me into court, and she knew she could get that big money because they had me paying $900 a month in child support, and I had never been married to or nothing, for one child back in the 80s. That's how much money they was taking from me, and I had to pay child care costs. So it got to the point where I ended up losing that job, and I couldn't keep up with that amount of money. So it started accumulating, and she took me back into court. And the judge was like, well, you better find a job making the same money or we're going to lock you up. And at that point, I was just destroyed. I was like, lock me up. I don't give a heck. You just took a good father and destroyed me. This woman is spending this money on another man, bringing my kid to me with raggedy clothes, ain't doing nothing. And that's what she was doing. All of that mess, right? So then they locked me up for a day, and then brought me back into court. And then she turned around and was like, I don't want him locked up. He is a good father. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't stay in jail. But they put me through it. You know? They put me through it.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Shantice, is there some truth? Do you agree, disagree with the statement that was made?
Well, real quick, I just want to say the set it off music that was playing in the back was everything.
It was. It pulled on your heartstrings.
When they killed Cleo, when the cop shot Cleo dead in the street, I was like, why is this the song that was chosen?
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh yes, I agree that it does get to that extreme. As it was said, I do know men where their license was revoked or suspended because they weren't paying the crazy amount that the woman went back. Not that the father was not already taking care of the child even before she put him on child support, but because she was bitter for whatever reason. And somehow, the one in particular, I don't think it's that he couldn't keep up with it. He refused to pay because it was like, you just acting stupid. So they were taking each other back and forth to court. But in the midst of all of that, his license got suspended. So they will unfortunately get real slow to the point where, like he said, it doesn't make sense. So you lock me up. Now you know I can't work. At least out here, I can go look for work, or I already have a job. But you lock me up, now what? And then, like it was said, this money just keeps accumulating. It's not like it stops because I'm locked up. The same way it doesn't stop if I lose my job or if I quit. So it does get to where it's real silly. And like he said, and then now you want the government benefits, but sometimes in order to get the government benefits, you got to have a job, but you don't want a job. But so it is, the court system is extremely biased. And I know of women who take these fathers for all this money, and meanwhile the child looked like, if you could donate $1.50 a day, the price of a cup of coffee, this child will help. And it's like, but I thought you just sent her and he's like, I did. I'm like, and there's no way I'd be skipping to anywhere else today outside of the court. That judge would get so tired of looking at me, he would be the one doing the home visit, or she would be the one doing the home visits. Forget sending a social worker out. It's just ridiculous. So unfortunately, because they just automatically favor the woman, it does get that remedial to the men, where the things that they put in place a lot of time, it's like, but how is it supposed to work?
Okay. And Pastor KL.
Yeah, I think it's I'm with everybody. It's totally ridiculous.
You need to either get hold on. You need to get closer to your device because you're low.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I think it's totally ridiculous. For those of you who never heard about this before, in Alabama, you will go to jail. I know someone who's been in jail for 11 years for child support. And like it was said, it doesn't stop because you go to jail. You still have to pay when you come back out, which means you're going back to jail again. Because if you're in jail for 11 years, the accumulation, you're never catching up. Right. If you had a McDonald's job, you're not catching up from McDonald's. And then a lot of times, because you've been in jail, you can't get a job.
Right.
And listen, I understand is the decisions that men make, when they go around sleeping with all these women. I understand that. But my question is, what is the decision that you've made as a woman because it says the same thing, that you had 5 different baby daddies. So at one point, why you don't stop? Or is it because the government's going to keep on taking care of you, that you're free willing? It's just not fair.
Okay. Serge says, my thing is, when you put child support When you put the child support money, it comes out of his check. It's the same. It goes to the court system. They get paid for the case and get some money. Now the men have to find a way to live with the little amount he makes. And we got to check in from our boy Terrence. Hey, Terrence. Good morning. Good morning and good morning. So, for the record, the courts do not get paid. The courts do not get paid. As an insider, the court does not get paid. It's from one to the other. They are only transporting the money and supposedly keeping the records, but they do not get paid. For the record, it is not only this side of the fence. I will never forget an experience that I had of an employee who was paying $900 every paycheck.
Oh my God.
Every paycheck. He was paying $900. Keep in mind, there's twice a year you get paid 3 times. So that means she was getting $900 3 times that month. It doesn't stop because you get an extra paycheck. And I had, it was in New Jersey, and he was a New Jersey employee, and I had the New Jersey Child Enforcement Office call me and ask me about his amount that he was paying. And I said to her, I said, we're mandated to work the numbers on our end, and I can't take anything else out of his paycheck. And she was like, but he's still short. So whatever the judge allotted, he was still short. I said, I can't do nothing about that. I'm not sending you another penny because the man will be living in the street. And her exact words to me was, I don't care what he has to do. This was the amount of money he's supposed to be paying per the courts. He better come up with it. And if we don't get it from you, we'll have to get it from somewhere else. I said, well, then you need to take that up with somewhere else. He was white. It is not just a black thing. Because when they are in that office, they don't see color.
Mm-hmm.
They see dollars. And she was a white woman, and she was extremely nasty and insensitive. And I had to ask myself, well, what did somebody do something to her? Did her man get away with this? It was just, we spoke for a while, and I just could not believe. And as a single mother, I just couldn't even agree with her. As a single mother, I could not agree with her. It was just so insensitive. So the insensitivity, trust me when I tell you, from the courthouse, you might look at it, well, they see a black man on the other side. So I wanted to say that to you. Personally, it is an imbalance because like it has been said, everyone's done the same deed. You've had 5 children. You fathered 5 children. And yet she gets aid and he is forced to figure out how he's going to pay. And my question to this group is, how do you, now we've heard all of the injustice, so we don't have to go back through that again, but how do you now settle this? Because that's really what he's talking about. How does this get settled? How do both sides have 5 children, but she gets aid and he gets pressured? How does this get settled? Where's half my group? Did I lose half my group?
No, we're here.
Oh. Okay. So I'm going to start with you, Brother Ainsley. How does this get settled?
First of all, I mean, there is some self accountability here, but I mean, it got to be a pathway. It got to be a pathway, all right? Because I believe for one child, it's based on like 17% of your gross, whatever that is, right? If you make $100, it's $17. That's basically what it is on whatnot. But there's got to be a pathway to pay it off. Now, the person's not working, To me, I think it should be like some kind of work program, like this forever, some kind of construction jobs and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, listen, you ain't got a job. Well, you go work this construction job. They generally pay pretty well. We'll train you, so therefore he has a skill on whatnot. If a person not skilled, there's an place where he can get skilled to work. What do you call it? Like job training, if you will.
Right.
So there got to be a pathway so he can earn some money, and even whenever it happens, when he's through paying off, he still have a means to live himself, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But there has to be a pathway so he can earn money, because as we all know, once you're in jail, ain't no money being made. You know what I'm saying? So I say something like that.
Okay. Vivian, how do you balance this? Okay, wait. Ainsley, are you saying so that's how you settle this? How is that how you level the playing field in its entirety? Is that what you're saying? Just getting some clarification.
No, that's just one way. One way to start off.
Okay.
The bottom line, the kids got to be the bottom of the kid. The bottom line, despite whatever happened, it's the kids that suffer. So the money got to be coming from somewhere, from whatnot, whether it's the government, somewhere, and stuff like that. The idea is to get the man on his feet so he can't pay this child support and whatnot. So that's it. Or if it's the opposite way, if the father who has custody, same thing with the women. They got to be in what way if they're not making money, well, a pathway for them to earn. They let them do some construction work, whatever case may be. Ways to bring the money in on their own. I think I should start.
Okay.
But the kids are here now, so that's that.
Okay. Vivian, what say you? How do we address this situation? We all know that putting him in jail keeps the clock ticking, but it stops the money from coming in.
Yeah, I think that's one, like the first thing that needs to be addressed. If for whatever the reason is he's on child support and he can't afford it because he doesn't have a job, then let's work on finding him a job or her a job if the situation is vice versa. But locking the person up is not going to help anybody. It's not going to help the child. It's not going to help the mother. And it's only going to continue a cycle for the guy that's unbreakable, like Pastor KL pointed out. So I think that's the first thing we have to do is stop locking people up if they can't afford to pay their child support, and instead help them find a way to get the money so that they can pay the child support. Because you're not helping the child at the end of the day. And if this is all supposed to be for the child, then let's, make it about the child. The child doesn't have a father and they're not getting them, they're not getting the money if you're locking him up. So I think that's the first thing that needs to be focused on. Putting out more programs, because I know there are programs out there that if somebody is looking for a job, they will assist you in finding one. So if that's hard for somebody to come by, if those programs are hard for somebody to come by, then making it more accessible to them, making it more known that they're out there. But I think that's the first thing we have to look at, and then making sure that it's the same for both genders. Can't be one way for this one, but the other way for the mom. So making it both the same.
Okay. Pastor
you know
Jeff.
What? I'm sorry. One thing that my mind too.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This has been messing up all morning because y'all keep going in and out where I can't hear y'all. That's
because you owe child support.
But what's the question?
The question is, how do you now settle this? How do you address this fairly, in your opinion? Because we know locking him up is not going to provide an answer or remedy, but how do you address it? How do you address this entire situation? Not only him, but her as well.
No, I mean, they need to stop letting. Well, I don't know how it is now, but then they need to stop letting the women use the courts to destroy the guy. Now they are deadbeat dads that really need to come after, but the ones that were trying, you should try to help them. Like, you know, you get them training, get them a job. You know, you see the man trying, you need to help him instead of locking him up and messing him up, messing his record up, you know, mess his reputation up. You need to have avenues that you help him, but they go to is to lock him up, and then when they lock him up, they get that free labor from him. You know what I'm saying? And he's still owed, you know, after that. So they need to training and all of that.
Okay. Ainsley, you were going to say something?
Yeah, 'cause another reason why it's bad to lock them up. All right, because the child suffers. It's bad enough the child support ain't there. Is
the voices went out again.
I think that's you, bro.
Go out and come back in. Go out and come back in to Jeff.
Another thing is that now the father, he ain't got access to his child. You know what I'm saying? The relationship between the child and the father is totally gone. That doesn't necessarily have to be. Just because the man don't have the money don't mean he can't still spend time with the child. So the child now doesn't have a relationship as he should, as he could with his father. Now you're creating a whole bunch of other issues because now the child is basically fatherless. And all what that brings out.
Okay.
There's more to it than just money to it.
Absolutely. Shantice, yes. How do you address this imbalance?
People have to actually start doing their job and start dealing with it case by case and not just taking the woman's word for it. Because again, the reason why these women are getting away with it is because the men are not following up and going back to the courts. Very few out of the men I know who are in or have been in that situation, I really only know of one that was like, oh, I'm taking her to court too. We have a court case. I got proof of this, that, and the third. Everyone else was lazy, but they wanted to complain. Some way or form they wanted to complain, and it's like, but you can't complain if she's doing her due diligence, even with her being wrong. She's filing this and she's showing up for that and she's showing this and men gotta hide this so that they ain't gotta let it be known what kind of job they working, because if she find out how much they make, it's too much. It's too much. But the only way I really see this being rectified is if they actually did their job. What is the point in having a judge and attorneys if everyone is just going to take the word of one person? It has to be, okay, this is how this case is, this is how this case is. Does this child really need all this kind of money? $900 per paycheck for what? If that's only for the child, is this child sick? Do they have some type of deformity where they need a wheelchair and a vehicle that accommodates the wheelchair and all that? That's one thing. But if this is a child that got all limbs and limbs are working and all of that, we need an itemized breakdown as to what $900 a paycheck is going towards, because half of that probably ain't even going to the child. It's all going to her. Oh, your child got to live. Well, and I know fathers say, well, you know what? They do got to live. That's why I'm putting in that they come live with me. Bam, remedy, there you go, problem solved. Now she got a problem with that, right? Because it ain't got nothing to do with the living conditions. It has nothing to do with that. So they have to actually do their job, and men have to step up and follow through as well. You can't be feeling some type of way that she's taking you for your money, but when it's time for you to do your due diligence, you're not doing anything. That's how they keep taking you for your money.
Okay. Pastor KL, what's the remedy for this situation? How do we handle and address this imbalance?
All right, well, let me say this. So I do understand child support. I understand it more than you know, Lord Jesus. And I understand that the child support, let's say $900, it doesn't just go for the child's sneakers or food. And, it's for housing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's for power, the power company. It's for the child to be able to live in a safe space. However, let me say, most men who are having 5 children like this, that has to pay child support because they're small children, their character is messed up. So they not trying to. That's not the real good guy. You got some guys who just fell into the crack, and this is what happened. But these ain't the real good guys. Most women who have 5 children who require child support, her character is messed up. This is not the woman you take home to mama. I think, and as much as I don't like Trump, Trump is saying now, if you don't work 60 hours, you lose all your benefits. At some point, the women have to do their part as well. Because listen, I hear everybody saying that the child is really losing. The child is not really losing because the child is getting government assistance. He's being taken care of. His medical is being taken care of. She's laying around doing nothing. The man is losing. Even though his character is messed up, he's the one in the loss.
Okay. Lady Tamika.
Okay, so I did hear Pastor Kale with regard to saying that the man is at the low, but you also have to recognize that now this child at this early age recognizes, oh, well, I don't need to do anything because the system's going to give it to me, and I know generations of families, grandma got all kinds of services, then mom got all kinds of services. Now we got a grandchild that's just expecting. You don't really, you haven't had access to what the real world looks like, where a mother's working, a father's working. That's all you see. So, if anything happens, recognize that parents are not staying in this world long enough sometimes. Sometimes before the child can even get, at a working age, they lose their parents. So they're under the ideal that I don't have to work for it, and I think that that's a bad thing. That's a bad ideal that's put upon our children. If you don't think that there's a breakdown of the family, that's it right there. And my thing is, if she's getting resources, then she needs to work, and with a situation like that with him, don't incarcerate him, help him find means so that he can support his family. The whole problem is that there's a breakdown with the family, and by the time he gets to the relationship with the child's been so estranged from the father that there's no relationship there. Like, my father didn't help me. My mother was the one doing all the things, because that's what it looks like. That's their perception. That's all they have, because you incarcerated the father. I think that means need to be done on both sides. She needs to find a means of work. That means that we're not just going to sit home all day, all night, and accuse or request more and more money, but do your due diligence as a person, whoever the person is, whether they the mother or the father, you've got to work. Don't just sit and collect.
Okay. All right. Brother Al, how do we level the playing field? Or can we?
Yes, it can be done. It's so funny because you got where Pastor Kell go. You got 4 men on here, and neither one of us ever had a good experience when it came to child support. So I think to fix this situation is that they need to change the system. They need to hear both sides and then come up with a guideline. Come up with a guideline, because us guys, we can tell you some of the things. I remember going into court and telling, listen, I'm not working at the moment. I'm trying to find something. The judge told me that's not my problem. That child need to be taken care of. So now while I'm looking for work, it's piling up. The money is piling up. And it's not sometimes that the men don't want to pay child support, because the way they have it, it piles up and stuff. They're not able to. Because now you come back and, okay, I finally got a job. Oh, we so happy you got a job. You owe $15,000 in arrears. So you're going to pay $200 a month, and you're going to pay $100 towards those arrears. Okay, wow, I can't afford to pay rent now. What am I going to do? I don't care how you're going to do it. The child need to be taken care of. So I think that they need to come up with a guideline. They need to hear the problems on both sides, and then they need to come up with a guideline. And then you have the problem, like they said, where with this story here, I'm thinking everybody hearing 5 children, but you're not hearing that he got 5 different baby mamas. Okay, so what are you doing, bro? You're running in the street and you running ragged. You're running in the street and you're running ragged. So they need to put some guidelines here from both sides. Get a guideline, make it fair for both sides. You know, I heard Shanti said, you know, you go to court and you take in and you show proof. It doesn't matter. When my son mother took me to court, I took a folder full of receipts from baby stores that I bought clothes. And the judge told me, oh, we see that you are buying stuff. That's considered a gift for the children. And I'm sitting there like, what? So, you know, the men lose all the way around. They need to make it more fair. Or even when they say, okay, you go to this child support and they say, okay, you know what? You get him this holiday, she get him this holiday. Then the mother decide, nah, he's staying with me. He's not going with you for Christmas. And you're like, yo, what the heck? So by now Christmas is gone. You go to the court, nothing happened. But if I keep that child over the time, they saying I'm kidnapped the child. So you see, it's just so unbalanced. They need to make it balanced, and then make the playing field balanced. And then I think it can work better. And then if you want to go to the overall thing, then run by what the Bible says. Don't do nothing until you get married. Not saying it can't happen, but you be on the right path.
Okay. All right. Here's a thought that comes to my head. I had two thoughts. One, Brother Ainsley said something that stimulated a question, and number two, but I'm gonna go to number two first. So the complaint is she has 5 children and she gets assistance with those 5 children. However, if he makes 5 children, then y'all lock him up for not being able to pay child support. So my question becomes, you didn't think about none of this when you were making these kids? So you made the first one. All right. So you got hit with child support. You're going to make another one. You didn't think about the fact that you were already supposed to be paying child support, or that you were paying child support. So now it gets doubled. You have to pay more. So then you make a third. So you didn't consider the fact that you were paying the first. You didn't consider the fact that you were paying the second, or you should have been paying the first. You should have been paying the second. And now you make a third. So then we go make a fourth. You didn't remember that you already got 3 in line already, that you either should have been paying or you were already paying. Mm-hmm. So then you go make a 5th. So I'm going to leave the part on how we address her on the side for a moment. And it's not to say that I am condoning what she's doing by far. But the complaint is she's getting assistance, but yet I'm being forced. My personal opinion is you're not being forced. This is what you should be doing. You made the first. You made the second. You made the third. You made the fourth. You made the 5th. Why am I mad that she's getting assistance, but I'm being made and held accountable for what I did? Can somebody answer me that? That I'm looking across the table at what I feel is unfortunate and unfair. And yet, I should get help finding a job. Because let me tell you something, you're going to have to make a whole lot of money in order not to be destitute after you pay 5 people child support or pay child support for 5 people. You're going to have to make a whole lot of money. So if they found you a job, if they trained you for a job, you still going to be poor broke and unhappy. Because they will never be able to train you for a job that you're going to be able to afford to take care of the 5 children that you made. And I'm personally having a problem with the mentality that says, I'm upset because she's getting help, but you're now going to check me for what I did. Like I said, do not, because if anybody knows me, you know I'm very hard on the woman. We ain't got to her yet, but I'm lost there. So if somebody on this floor can help me with that, please do. Because I got Serge in here that's saying, hold on, because Serge didn't threw out, then when you go and sell drugs to have the money to pay the child support doesn't support the child if the child is not benefiting from the money. To settle it, stop having sex and having a baby if both don't know each other well. Start as friends, get to know each other first before you get in a relationship with this person, because you need to be okay. And that's sound advice. You're able to see the future, and sure, this is the person you want to get married with and have a child. Yes. Serge says, going off to what Shantice is saying, they listen to what the mom says she wants for her child, the school, etc. She wants the father to pay for, but she doesn't do what she said. Tara says that's true, Pastor with what Pastor KL said. The system can never get balanced at all. It's to keep men down. Oh, you? Oh, no. No, sir. Sir says, I have a co-worker who makes a living on child support from 2 babies' fathers, and she was training other co-workers on how to make money from the child support system. Terrence says he was going for 10 kids, so he doesn't have to pay the child support. So Terrence, you didn't walk right into what I'm talking about when you say the system can never get balanced at all. The system is keeping men down. I'm sorry, the system didn't put that man in 10 women and impregnate 10 women. So somebody here, help me understand why I'm mad at what she's benefiting from more than I'm more concerned about the step that I made to put myself in this situation. Floor's open.
Steph, I agree 100% with you. That's why I said from the beginning, I put myself in that predicament. So, I dealt with it. And it's exactly what you said. Us as men, we have to take responsibility. When you go to lay down with that woman, there's a possibility of a lot of things going on. Picking up the experience that she had, making her pregnant, paying child support. But at the time, us men not thinking about that. So now when you have one with this person, that person, that's why I said I take total responsibility. I just said they need to balance the system. They need to have it balanced. Now, if she go out and get help, hey, that's her business. I don't have a problem with that. Go get your help. My problem is just be fair with it, because you could be paying like what I was doing. I was paying, I was the best father in the world. When we broke up, I became the worst man on the planet, and her friends got I'm gonna take him for child. I'm like, I buy him clothes, I do everything for him. Now you want to go to the court? I'm like, wow. So that's why I think it should be a balance. It should be a guideline. And I think that would help that out. But again, the men, hey, we out there sleeping with this one, that one, this one, that one. We dealt ourselves that hand. So I agree with that. I can't be mad at the woman if she go get help. Hey,
yeah, but Pastor Steph, you know what? You're not going to get an answer to that question. You're not going to get an answer. Not from the men on here.
I won't. That's
you know why? Because on here you got responsible men who take care of their responsibilities. We're not about that kind of life. So you got to ask somebody who's in that kind of lifestyle, that kind of mentality, that kind of characteristic. They have no problem of keep on repeating and repeating. Ask them that. So
I've asked them, and it was just as quiet as it was on this line here, because there is no answer. There is no answer, because the whole thing is, like Pastor Steph said, I'm gonna just do the do, and then when things don't happen my way, now I just complain. That's it. That's why I'm mad that she's getting the benefits, and it's like I have to work, but she doesn't. You already saw that. You already saw that she likes to get benefits at your expense. So when you go and you lay with her, and now you're all startled and flabbergasted that she's still getting benefits at your expense. She did this before that child came.
That sounds like really lack of manhood training, really. One thing as a man, you come up with a sense of having some accountability and taking on responsibility. You're responsible for your actions. So to be so careless to not care about your seed, it falls along with that. So to me, it seemed like a lack of, again, a real man father in place that won't allow such a thing happen with their son. Things are going to happen, generally speaking. That sounds like lack of manhood training right there.
And
right, so I have
No,
go.
I was going to say 9 times out of 10, that's the child that I was talking about that became a man. Now he doesn't know how to function. He's figuring it out as he's going along. Unfortunately, doing it all wrong. Going to every little spot that he can get and getting children as an end result. Unfortunately, the family suffers.
I think Pastor KL said it in the beginning. People like that who have 5 children by 5 different women or 5 children by 5 different men, they already ain't right mentally. So there is no answer as to why you're more upset that she's benefiting than you are of the situation you put yourself in. You ain't have no sense when you was laying down with them, so you ain't gonna have no sense about the fact that now you got to be forced to take care of them.
Right.
Yeah, Viv. Right. Yeah, Viv.
But you know what? So as Steph, you said there is no answer. What I equate that character and what I equate
didn't say there is no answer. I ain't say there was no answer.
This is what I think. It's like a man who speeds on the highway. Mm-hmm. He speeds on the highway, and until he gets caught, he keeps speeding. You don't stop speeding until you get that $300 ticket. So until you get caught, you know what I'm saying? Until they say now you're going to jail, I'm still having babies because there ain't nobody catching me. Not only that, what people don't realize too, okay, so with one of my situations, I've had a few, but with one of my situations, the mother, well, I didn't even know I had a child, but the mother was collecting, was collecting, government assistance. Now, what people don't realize is that the government, the state, will come and get their money. Whether she files for you or not, whether she puts your name in the basket or not, the state. Listen, I had a child in New York. The state found me in Alabama. When they say you can run, but you can't hide in Alabama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I had the same situation. I got a letter in the mail. I was like, what?
Let me help you all understand what happens. When I hire you, I have to put your information in the system. Mm-hmm. So there's a payroll company that's being used that I put all your information in. That payroll company has a responsibility to push it through to a master database. Period. Females, males, any social security number that I give them to pay you, saying that he's working here, she's working here, I'm paying her as of now, for her employment starting now. They push it into a master database. There have been people that before we were paid every 2 weeks. There were people before I could even get to their first paycheck. Their name was already sitting on my desk because their name was sitting up in the child support enforcement in that master database. This is why it does not matter where you live. I was doing payroll from New York, and it goes into the master, and they spit it out. So if you were in Alaska, Puerto Rico, Guam, it didn't matter. If you are a part of the United States, it hit my desk. And I had to address it immediately. Years ago, if you got a garnishment, it didn't matter whether it was for a creditor or it was for child support, it was privatized where you could go to that person and say, listen, don't answer it, don't respond. It's not like that anymore. Right. They have you once you put in, now they're holding you accountable. They're telling you, well, we got this number from Joe's Crab Shack. I said, oh yeah? Okay. Send Joe's Crab Shack this, and then they would send Joe's Crab Shack. So I got from two. I got from the payroll company, and I got from the child support enforcement of New York City out in Alabama. So there's no, like you said, Pastor Kale, you can run, but you can't hide, because they have synchronized this thing so well that they are mandating that if you're using your social security number, oh, it's coming. They coming for you.
I got
they
a question for you,
this.
So, Pastor, I got a question for you, because you say you used to work and do that. So, am I to assume that you was the one that took the money out my check? I'm coming to see you. So there it is, fellas. There it is. Pastor Steph was the one taking our money. There it is. Pastor Steph, I'm gonna see you a little bit later on. I gotta come talk with you.
I'm sorry. I just had too much.
I got somebody to come see now.
Well, fellas, Pastor Steph is the culprit. We got to go pay Pastor Steph a visit.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. It doesn't matter where you are. I'm telling you about it. We got paid every 2 weeks. By the time I was ready to do the first payroll, I already had stuff sitting on this. I'm like, yo, they after you for real. You ain't getting away with nothing now. I have a question for the room. So Brother Ainsley brought up something that stimulated a question. So you have women that say, so Brother Ainsley said, listen, when women will say the children are disconnected from the father because he's not paying child support, being that he's in jail now. My question is, what do you think is fair when a woman says, well, you know what? This baby got Pampers, or this child got clothes, school supplies, boots and coat and hat and all these things that they need. You ain't paying child support, you don't get to see this child. Should that be connected in any shape, form, or fashion? And I'm gonna start with you, Pastor Jeff.
Yeah, I think if he's really a bum and won't take care of his kid, he shouldn't. I'm caught on that a little bit, but why see a kid you don't care about? You don't care nothing about him. You're not trying to do anything. No, I don't think you deserve to see him.
Okay. Vivian.
I was going to say the same thing again, because if you're the type of person, since we're talking about the man, if you're the type of man who don't want to pay child support, you ain't even trying to find a job to help take care of that child. What are you offering my child at the end of the day? You can't offer them anything. Why would I want my child around that mentality? So no, I think it should be. Now, if you're trying, like the men have spoken about here, if you're trying and you're just in a hard situation right now, you're trying to find a job, whatever the case may be, then no, don't keep that child away from his father. But if you're a deadbeat and you don't care about him one way or the other, it goes back to all these stories that we've been telling, that you knew what he was about and you allowed that man to see the child alone or have that child alone, and then the father wound up killing the baby and giving the baby back to the mother and the stroller dead. So if you ain't trying, if you're not about nothing, then you don't need to see my child. You don't have anything to offer him one way or the other. So why?
Okay. Brother Al, is it a matter of perception when you don't find a job and she says, well, listen, you ain't trying, so you can't see this kid? Is that Is that fair? He's not working. He's not doing anything to show that he's trying to support the child. Should he still be allowed to see the child despite it all?
Yeah, on Zoom. And I say that for as and I've dealt with the situation as when this parent could be a deadbeat, and for some reason that child levitates to that person. He levitates. I want to see my mother, and I'm putting myself in that predicament because my son went through that. Mother was just no good. I was on the opposite. I had custody of him. You know, he lived with me. No good, but he loved that woman to death. So now what do you do? You know what? Let's get on Zoom. You can see mommy on Zoom. Mommy can't come out. We can see mommy on Zoom. So I would say that because the person is a deadbeat, but just to completely not let him steal, I do kind of got an issue with that because I'm thinking about the child who wants to steal. Now he's a baby, don't know no better. Okay, you ain't saying nothing because you ain't doing nothing. So why should I have him around you and you ain't taking care of him or doing nothing? How can I trust him with you if you ain't working or nothing? How you gonna feed him while he with you? How you gonna pick him up? So those are things I look at on that.
Okay. Tamika, you mentioned the fact that this is destroying the family, destroying the child. Should he be or she be allowed? Because I did have child support for women. It was not only men. I did have for women. Not many, but I did. Should he or she be allowed to still see that child?
I think it's important, even if just for general purposes. I have been at a prison and I've seen both sides. I've seen where children were brought in, of a reasonable age, and there was some bonding there, and then I've seen situations where the children could care less, or the father could care less, but my thing is, okay, that's your father, and then my thing is, let the child decide. Because there could be all kinds of stuff going on between me and the parent, the father, and I think that relationship would let you know whether you're going to do it or not. If he could care less and he's not trying to give anything, and this, then why keep doing it to harm your child? It's the child all the time. It's always the child's benefit that precedes anything else.
Okay. Pastor KL, you have the majority so far that have said no. You haven't, for what? You haven't done anything. You can't provide anything. And Tamika says, listen, it doesn't matter. That child should see, even allowing the child to make the decision. What say you?
Well, I'm with Tamika. Most of you know that I've had custody of my children. So my son was 3 months old. And if the mother wanted to come see her, that was fine. You wasn't going. Yeah. Again, most people know that I have to have custody of my children. My son was 3 months old, and if the mother wanted to come see him, that was fine. You wasn't going anywhere with him. You wasn't taking him anywhere. But in my presence, you can visit. You have visitation, but you wasn't going nowhere with him. Again, if you couldn't take care of him, if the court granted me custody, then you couldn't take care of him. So why would I take that chance in allowing you to have an overnight or outing? No, you can visit the child, but with me. But I do think that it's important for the child still to know their mother and or their father.
Okay. Shatis.
Yes. Again, I believe this is a case-by-case thing because already as a mother, your guard needs to be up when he has assisted in producing this child, but he does not want to take care of said child. So already the guard needs to be high. Yes, it would be a supervised visitation because I 100% agree with let the child see for themselves. The child might tell him he's a bum. These children are very honest. It don't matter who you are, mother, father, sister, brother, it don't matter. They'll be able to tell the difference between I see mommy working, you don't. Where are you taking my child? I thought you broke. So you would have to come here in order to see him or her anyway. You ain't paying no child support. That means you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money for nothing. You ain't got no money for food to take them nowhere. You can't take them to the movies. You can't take them nowhere. So no, it can't. It definitely has to be a case by case thing. But definitely have your guard up with that. Because again, as Vivian pointed out, and as I'm seeing more and more, and we cannot take these things lightly. It can't be, I didn't think so and so would do that. No one thought they did. But guess what? Now it's to the point where siblings are killing each other. Listen. You don't want to take care of your child, there's certain rights you don't have automatically. One of them is that you can just come and pick your child up and take them somewhere. No, I can't rely on you to take care of them on a normal basis. Then there's no outings. But I'm not going to, unless I know you are a physical, mental, emotional threat, spiritual threat to that child, I'm not going to stop you. But you just taking them somewhere, no. And then again, when you taking them with my money, absolutely not.
Okay. Brother Ainsley, there have been cases where the men have taken, oh Lord, where the men have taken the children for the outing and they have no money and they do nothing. There have been cases of the woman taking, the man taking the child and had to ask the woman for the assistance to, have some funds to take the child with them. Does any of this matter? Should they be allowed to see the child anyway? What's your take?
I say yeah. To me, the financial part of it, to a greater extent, does not determine visitation. I think initially you asked, is the woman, if the mother saying, if he doesn't pay child support, then he shouldn't get the right. He shouldn't have. I totally disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's her thinking. The thing is, what is in the best interest of the child? All right, suppose that the child support is supposed to be $500, but I'm going to pay $200. So I can't see my child because I don't have all of that. So the child's going to suffer for that. I think that mentality is totally wrong. Definitely not. There obviously should be some safeguard, but I think it wasn't in the best interest of their child. So should the child be able to see whoever is responsible financially, regardless of that they're not meeting that, they should be able to. I'm not saying they should go away on visits overnight and stuff like that, but that that doesn't negate the visitation or the visit altogether. Of course not. No.
Okay. Terrence, going back a little bit, Terrence says, and the reason why I say the system is to bring us men down is because I was put on child support and my child lived with me, and I told the judge she lives with me, and the lady said so, and I found a way to get out of it. We have Joseph, who's quoting Romans 5, But God commanded his love toward us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Much more then, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. Terrence says, I agree with what Tamika says, but the only flaw is whoever the child stays with, the things that's being put into the child's head where they don't want to see the other parent. Yeah, we know that especially women, a lot of women will poison children. We have an A12 who's checking in. Thank you for joining us this morning and joining in the conversation. Women are not doing this right now, are they? For real. Yep, women are the breadwinners. As history has shown, men fall in line. You guys are causing a generation of weak men and entitled women. Have fun on your path of wisdom. All righty. So, we've talked about the other side. We've talked about the male side. Let's talk about the female side. How do we deal with her? She has 5 children. She has made just as poor of a decision as the man. if not more, because you're going to be the one that end up with them. You ain't dispatching them as you have them. You're going to be sitting at home with them. So, you are making just a poor, if not more, decision than the man does. And you are sitting at home getting all of these benefits. And your thought is, and your feeling is, well, listen, I can't go to work because how am I going to pay for these kids to be taken care of? They got to go somewhere. What's the answer to that? I'll start with you, Vivian. How do you deal with her?
Making her, putting it to where the dad is not responsible for everything and she has no responsibility. So if he's paying child support, then it's a portion, but it's not to where his child support is supposed to be covering everything. So I think I heard somebody say something about a percentage of the money comes from his check. So if that percentage is covering everything to where she doesn't have to get a job because his child support is paying the light, the gas, the food, the child care, that's too much. She needs some type of responsibility. And from my knowledge, again, if she is on government assistance, she's not supposed to be on government assistance and a stay-at-home mom. She's supposed to go out there and find a job. So push that more. Stop allowing these women to get away with being home, spending up his money, and you don't have no responsibility to the child financially. That needs to be fixed. Okay. So if she's refusing to get a job, then she needs to be facing some type of consequence as well. And then now if you're refusing to get a job, now we're going to stop the child support until you get a job. Do something like that. Force her to get a job.
Okay. For the record, his submission is only partial of, the breakdown. It isn't he's not paying her light bill. He's not paying her rent. He's not paying, it's a portion of that child's, contributing to that child's, stay there, utilities, food, blah, 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 blah. All righty. Brother Al, how do we address her side? Vivian says, listen, if you got to go to cut them off, then do so. What say you?
Yeah, I would say, the same thing, put some stuff on her as well. Since it's going one-sided, then you know what? If you got more than 2 baby daddies, you in trouble. You're on your own. You like Patti LaBelle, you're on your own. Get out there, get a job, handle your business. Hey, listen, you rough on the men, we gotta be rough on the women too. You got more than 2 baby daddies, then I'm sorry, you gonna have to get a job. We ain't taking care of them other 2, 3 you got. We giving you support for 2 of them. The other 3 you got to get some work, and that'll make them sit back and say, wow, okay, you know what? I got these other kids. I better not have these other kids because Shantice hit it on the head. I know some women out there like that too. I got 3 baby daddies. I ain't got to work. I'm like, wow, bragging right in front of my face. So no, put some limit on them as well. And you know what? I guarantee they'll stop too.
Okay. Lady Tamika, how do we address her? Do we just give her this support because the kids got to be taken care of? Or do we mandate that she does something? And what is that something?
Well, she needs to work. I know we're in a different day and age, but I remember back in the day when Big Mama and they had, like my grandmother's era, they had 8 to 10 children, and they found a way to make it work. This day and age is different. But I mean, you still have to give some type of drive. You can't just sit there and watch time pass. One of the other things that I can't stand, and I'm not saying that every woman does that, but he's giving child support and you looking wonderful. And them children look like they live up underneath the couch. We got to do something to pass the time, time away, not just sitting there waiting, and collecting. You watching funds come in and you not doing anything. Again, the end result is always the child. And so what are you doing to progress your child other than sitting at home and watching time pass by?
Okay. Pastor KL, how do we hold her accountable, and what should we mandate she do, or do we mandate that she do anything?
She has to find a job. She has to. She has to go to school. She needs to learn common sense. When you had that first child and Bubba didn't pay for it, you went to have another child. Now you know the another daddy is not going to pay for that child and Bubba child, so you decided to have another child. I mean, this stuff just make it make sense. It don't make sense. When I sit there at my register and you come up there with 3 buggies of food and you still got $4,000 left in EBT, no, there is something wrong with the system. When you're in, first of all, the government gives you child care. They give you money for child care. So go find a job. But you go sit in the house where your rent is free. Now the new guy, which ain't none of the baby daddy, Pookie, living there for free. No, there has to be something that makes this thing stop. At some point, listen, you can't afford these children, I might need to take them. The system might need to take them. And maybe if you love your children that much, you'll get up off your behind and go to work.
Woo, that's a new dynamic. Taking the kids and putting them where? I'm just curious.
I was thinking
in the system. You're already in the system. So just take them.
So take them. So you don't want to give her the money for them, but you'll take them 100% and care for them?
Because she doesn't even want to take care of her children.
No, I understand your logic. I'm just asking. Just asking.
Because
you don't want to give her the money. Go ahead.
How about this? Give me the child. I'm paying for it anyway. We paying for the children. Which one you want? You want the youngest or you want the oldest? We paying for it. So if the system is already paying for it and you're not trying to help you or your children, give us the children. Because we are paying for it. You're just reaping the benefits.
But what if you don't want the child? She don't want the child. You don't want the child. Now the child's in the system. Give it to somebody who doesn't want the child either. They just collecting money, which is a really bad system.
Which is what the mother's doing. What difference is the mother doing? You guys have already said how the mother got their weave, their wig, their nails, everything done, and the child is looking like a hobo. So what's the difference between me giving somebody to a foster parent or to the biological parent who's treating them the same?
Okay.
Me and Pastor Steph will take them. We love the kids. I'll teach you one, little brother, little sister.
He took the kids. I didn't have my cycle. I know he took the kids. I'm still taking the kids. God ain't stopped that process. All right, Scotties, what say you? Pastor Gail says take the kids if you got to. We going that far.
Again, like I said, I know of fathers who have told the mother that, like, okay, well, since you don't seem to be able to get this together, send the baby to me. He or she can live with me. But obviously, you don't know how to make it work. You can't make it work with $19 a month. You can't make it work with $919 a month. Send me the baby. I actually want my baby, and the baby will be good. You know, you can come see him or her or whatever, but you and I, it will cut out you and I having to go back and forth. But you having a child, multiple kids, you can work. Having kids is not a job, despite popular demand. You can go and work. You have to go and work because you are not helping being a stay-at-home mom, that's a job that a lot of people don't know how to do. Sometimes it's a lot easier to go out and get a regular job, but you can't be okay with sitting at home. It's not okay to be okay with sitting at home doing nothing, figuring you can collect on the fact that you and this man just had a child together. No, so I agree. The man and the woman should both be held responsible financially and in every other area. You as a father have to work to support this child. I as a mother have to work to support this child. And it's not fair for me to just sit back. And here's what another thing I don't understand about these men. These women make the plans for the men to pay for. So it's the woman who says, I want to put the child or the children in this school that requires tuition. But the man is the one that's paying the tuition. How you coming up with the plan, but somebody else got to pay for it? So no, you want this child or these children to go to whatever school for whatever reason, then you have to come up with how you are going to, because most of the time the men don't agree with that. They still trying to figure out, well, what's wrong with them being in the public school. I understand this one has this, but you haven't given me, your argument isn't good enough for me to give you an additional $600, $700, $800 a month. So since you can't break that down, I'm not contributing to that. But because they just sitting back collecting anyway, they can continue to make set plans and not have to fund anything. So they should be held to the same standards. They're both parents.
Okay. Terrence says, I knew V came over to the men's side. So you got Terrence's vote, Vivian. All right. It's not just Pastor KL today. All right. Serge says, I agree with Pastor KL. So I'm assuming he's saying, take the kids, put them in the system. All right. Who else agrees that the children need to be taken from the mom? That should be a last resort. Taking the children from mom and put into the system. Brother Ainsley, do you agree?
Take them put them in the system?
Yes.
Not really. But I got an idea how you can deal with the woman, though. I like Brother Al's idea. But here's the thing, though, particularly when you're having children from different men, because it crossed my mind that, I believe it's, because I heard a woman say this, you get 17% for the first child, and I think like 23% from the second child and stuff like that. So even if you have 2 kids already, you get somebody who has any children, you get a 17% off of that child. My thing is this: number one, the woman has to provide accountability for what the money she gets and spends for child support. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if you get $500 a month, you can't spend $400 on your weave.
Right.
There has to be some accountability with it. Secondly, then if you're having more kids, then that percentage rate has to go down, because at some point your living arrangement is already built in. You know what I'm saying? It's already built in, so it shouldn't be. Now you get the 5th child. Now you get another 70% for that. No. I think that needs to be broken down.
So wait. So I have a question. You got to check it from Yvette. Hey, Yvette. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. So why does the man who knows this is her 3rd, 4th, 5th child, why does he not be mandated to pay what he should pay for that child, because he knew she had all them other kids? So now he doesn't have to pay the standard because she has more children? How does that work?
No, he's going to pay, but the standard's not the same. The standard's not the same if she has 4 kids as opposed to 1 kid. The standard is different to me.
No,
that's a problem. That's a problem.
If he's supposed, so for a man's, for the child, he pays the 17%. It doesn't matter if she has 100 children. They're not paying attention to the 99. They're paying attention to you and your child. So you and your child, that's the mandate for the child support. The child support is not based on how many other children she has, because when you go to court for that child, that's off the table.
Why?
Because it should be.
Because you don't think all them other children play a role in that child's life too?
Okay, wait. I'm sorry.
Wait. That's crazy.
No,
that's
I
crazy.
don't think so.
Wait, I'm sorry. It's really hard to back up that concept when I know of men who have had children with women who already have a kid. Then she's not taking care of their kid, and then they'll say, well, she don't take care of her first 2. You
Well,
saw
you
that.
know this.
You saw that.
Right, you know this.
You have a one night stand with this woman. You were in a relationship with this woman. You were around this woman. You got to see the dynamic of this woman with her other child, her other children. And yet you still, some of them planned to have children with said woman. Sometimes it wasn't always an oops. They planned. And now that you see she's not taking care of the child that or the children that y'all produce, now you going to fall back on the fact that you watched her not be the mother she should have been to the previous kids. How do you now? How no? But even so, I have the same questions. Listen, that's like well, we're in a relationship because you've been married before and you gave 100% to that marriage. Now, I don't expect 100% from you in this marriage. You can just give me 50% because I know you done kind of wore yourself out there. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me.
Not different.
Well, it's the same.
Why?
It's the same.
Keep apples to apples and oranges
Let
to
me
oranges.
let me fix the fruit. Let me fix the fruit real quick. So for some of you women, I mean, I'm sure Pastor Steph knows, but some of you women, when we get letters for child support and when we gotta come, we have to fill out forms telling you how much we make, what's our rent, so forth. Do we have any children? Are we paying child support? We have to give all that information. My question now for this is, why does the woman, now she's on her 5th child, she's already getting government assistance, why she doesn't have to produce how much she makes, what's her bills? Because at this point she has no bills. So my portion shouldn't be that great because you have no bills. So you're not bringing anything to the table, but you want to know all my information on what I'm bringing to the table, and you're still living for free.
It's called child support. Support for the child. Here's what y'all are merging. Y'all are merging what mom does with the money versus what the intent is. And I agree with whomever said that she needs to be held accountable. Each month, she needs to send in her standard, and I mean proof, not this garbage that she's just filling out a piece of paper. If you're getting support, then you need to send in your Con Ed bill. You need to send in your rent or receipt. You need to send in everything to prove that the money that you're getting via child support, I don't care if he's paying for 1 or if he's paying for 9, that you are paying your bills. Now, you are going to child support for little Johnny. The court's concern is you helping to pay for Johnny's needs. That other part is separate. That's what she should be mandated to do. But that ain't got nothing to do with your initial responsibility for little Johnny. You can't start cutting. Well, normally the child for child support is 17%, but we gonna cut it because she. No. Y'all need to mandate on the back end that she is doing what she's supposed to do with the money. And if she's not doing what she's supposed to do with the money, then you find consequence for her. Now, if that means that you need to take that same 17% and put it in an account for little Johnny, then do so. It should always have to go to mom. If mom is not producing what she needs to produce to prove that she's doing what she's supposed to do, then continue to take from dad or mom, whichever way, and you put it in an account for little Johnny. But to start cutting because mom ain't doing what she's supposed to do, I'm sorry, I can't agree with that.
And then you're not going back to the court and making noise either. So now ain't nobody doing what they supposed to do, because again, this is why one of the reasons why they keep getting allowed and keep getting away with it. You see that the money isn't going towards the child. But then when you're asked, well, why don't you go in? Oh, I ain't got time to do that. I don't feel like going back and forth. Then shut up and just give her the money. And wherever she throw it up and wherever it land is wherever it land. But everyone has to make sure they're doing their due diligence. You see that you're giving $50, $500, whatever to go towards something. You don't see where it's going. You need to be up in that judge face all the time. Well, listen, this is the proof that I sent it. Where's the proof? Because I told one of the fathers, you need to be taking pictures of them kids.
I just gonna say, where the pictures?
You need to be taking pictures of them kids. You said how money for them girls to get their hair done, for the sons to get their hair cut, and they looking like buckwheat. Why isn't the judge looking at this? Why isn't this upsetting his breakfast? I don't understand. You're sending money for this. Do your due diligence and make sure that your money is going towards, or it would be better, like Pastor Steph said, then just put it in an account. And when they get of age, or when you have them, that's the money that you dip in to take care of them. But you can't complain and then you don't want to do.
Well, they're not going to do that, Shantice, because the money have to go to the parent. Because again, it's like what Pastor says. Also, okay, that baby stay at the home. That baby is using light. That baby is getting food. So the thing is that you have to you let it go through the system. The system take the money and give it to them instead of you. You can't say, okay, I'm gonna take this 17% that I'm supposed to get this kid and put it in the account and hold it. You're going to jail. That's just
you need to make sure you need to make sure your second home is the courthouse. Then, if you giving that,
it's easy said that not gonna work when you go in the court. That money. I got a question for you. That woman's hand. If you put that money, I got the money in the account. The judge gonna look at you.
No, I'm not disputing that.
We're not saying that you do it.
I'm disputing the fact
that when it goes to the system, and at the midpoint, it goes to the child support enforcement.
Right.
If she has not shown that she has paid the said bills, then now you cannot get this money. Now this money, right? That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. We're not siding with her to say, well, keep on sending it or cut the amount, because if she's not doing what she's supposed to do, then by all means, take that same money that you're taking from dad and put it in and set account for that particular child. It is not going into a bucket for all of Mary's kids, but it is going into a bucket for little Johnny Brown. And that's later on, then Johnny Brown can get the money or whatever happens, but she has to show that because that's what's happening too often.
Right.
These kids are, like you all said, they're going, I've seen, I'm like, well, why the hair look like that? You can't find somebody to do their hair? How are you sending these kids with the father looking like this? And yet again, he's not going. I would be taking picture galore, video, and everything. From the time she dropped them off, I'd be taking video. This is how these kids are being dropped to me. No haircut, the clothes raggedy. I don't care whether she's looking polished or not. The children, I would be taking video and pictures of to prove. And I'd be like Shanti said, that courthouse would be my second place of business. Listen, Judge, I'm giving this, but she's not taking the money and doing what she's supposed to do.
Right. That's why it has to be, that's why we're, great points. And that's why we are saying that the system needs to change. Because even though you do that, and I've been through that, well, the judge was like, oh, well, what's going on with the money? I'm sending her the money. Oh, well, I bought this and that. Or why you sending him, and I just bought him new sneakers? Your Honor, I don't send the sneakers with him because he don't bring the child back with the sneakers. So it just like, it becomes your word against her word, and it becomes crazy. So what I did was, okay, you can take the little child support. I had clothes that I bought myself and kept at my house for my son. When I picked him up, I would tell him, you don't need to give him nothing. I got stuff at my house, and I would bring him there and let him and dress him with the clothes that I bought, because the system is so unbalanced that they just straight take. Because I even told the judge, I remember when my son's mother, she was like, well, Your Honor, it's so hard for me. And, she did the sob story. It's so hard for me. I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do it. And I said, Your Honor, if the child is so hard, I said, I pick him up every weekend. And she agreed, yes, he does. I said, if it's so hard for her, Your Honor, can we switch? I have him for the whole week, and she pick them up for the weekend. And I said, here's the thing. I said, I don't even want no child support from her. I just want my son to grow up good. So if it's rough for her, I'll take him, and she pick him up on the weekend. Now she's sitting there with a stupid look on her face. Then the judge was like, well, dude, you got to go to another court system for that. I said, okay, let's get this going. I filed for it, and they wouldn't let me do it. So this is what I'm saying, the unbalance put the father so far left, you know. So, I mean, these are all great points that we talk about that I wish they would consider.
Okay. Brother Ainsley, you have something?
Yeah, okay. My question, again, is like, okay, a woman has baby number 1. She has baby number 2. She has baby number 3. All right? So she's getting 17% off of each father. Get the baby number 4. You tell me, so isn't some of the housing is already, she's already providing, there's already stuff is already inherent in what she already has.
Provided a portion, yes, a portion.
So then why then is it this baby number 4 got to pay that full amount as though it's the first child?
Because that's what you're supposed to pay.
But I like the idea that
you're more. What'd you say?
I like the idea that you had about putting the money aside for little Johnny. So if baby daddy number 4 has 1 child by her and he still has to pay his 17%, the whole 17% don't have to go to mom. So if we're trying to fix the fact that she has 5 children by 5 different baby daddies, then you can still take the 17% from each baby daddy, but it all doesn't have to go to mom. You can put some of it aside for him for when he turns 18 or 21. Because I've seen to where, like, we're talking about trifling people at the end of the day. Because like Pastor KL said, people like this, their mindsets are not right. So we're talking about trifling baby mamas. Yeah. They're going to find a way. If I have to now prove that this money is going to my light, my gas, his food, I'm gonna find a way to prove that. But on the back end, it's really not. Because I've seen people who, when they know it's time to recertify or to do this or do that, they're going to put different things in place so I can be able to show that I'm not really making what I'm making, so you could keep giving me what you're giving me. So she could put it to where she can prove that, oh, the money is going to lights, the money is going to gas. But on the back end, really, she got some man living in the house who's paying light and gas. And she's proving that she's paying it, but really she's keeping all the money to herself. So I think that it's a good idea to say, all right, once you get to 2 babies or 3 babies, now we're still going to take the 17% from the baby father, but it doesn't all have to go to her, because you're making this a career now. You're having kids just so you can continue to get benefits from the government.
You're already paying the light bill already.
And why are you baby father number 4?
Thank you, Shantice. I'm still going back to my initial question. When I was told by you, Ainsley, we can't answer that question. So my question becomes, when you are now baby daddy number 3 and you see her not working, she's sitting at home, she's collecting child support from baby daddy number 1, baby daddy number 2. Now you get to be baby daddy number 3, 4, 5, and you're complaining? I don't think you get right to complain, honestly.
You don't.
Shut up, keep it in your pants, and don't contribute to the problem. So now, again, I'm looking across the board opposed to looking at my own responsibility. That was the point, and that's why I asked that question earlier. Stop complaining to Stephanie that she's not doing her job when I should have first been looking at the fact that I'm not doing right. So here's my question. Why am I putting a child in a home with a mother like that?
Right.
Why?
Exactly.
Why am I putting my child in a home with a mother who's living off of child support? That's what I want for my child.
Because you're trifling and you don't really care about the child.
Look, I'm tired of her dropping little Johnny off to my house driving a Mercedes Benz.
The man.
I'm talking about the man, because you're trifling and you don't really care about your child. Right. Yeah.
So now all of a sudden I'm going to come again. It goes back to my question. You walked right into my question.
Hey, Al, I've been S-class bitch.
Why are you complaining about something that I literally I have a guy that I know, and I said to him, he was complaining about the fact that she's not a good mother. So I said, well, why did you have a kid with her? He said, for the wrong reasons. I said, well, I'm just curious. Help me out.
What was
What's
the right
wrong? The wrong reason. I said, oh, listen to the logic. Because I saw how she was doing the other kids, and I thought, being that we were living together, that if we have a kid, I could show her how she could be a better mother. But you already saw that she wasn't a good mother to the first set of kids.
Sound like
Kids,
a young guy
not
too.
Kids.
How old was he?
That's poor judgment. That's just poor judgment, man.
How old was he?
There's no judgment. That's just straight stupid.
So then, what's the difference in what you're saying? You're saying, oh, I don't think that my 17% should be taken because she's not taking care of the other kids. Dummy, then you shouldn't be doing her.
Yeah, I'm saying that's for a judgment. I'm talking about for the trifling women who think I'm gonna get all this money for baby number 4 and 5.
But everybody is trifling at the end of the day. Listen,
you trifling.
I have said that I'd be darned if I'm a part of anybody's lineup. I ain't about to be baby mama number nothing. And I was like, Lord, especially now that I'm 40, please help. Because there is because what you also don't understand is you also have a responsibility to the previous children. No one thinks about that either. It doesn't matter that I'm not their birth mother. I'm not, but I'm now look at what happened. We don't know the dynamic of that, like Pastor Steph said yesterday with the baby who put the other baby in the microwave. We don't know if that was his father or the stepfather. But now you're adding to the previous children's lives. So I go and I have a child with a man who already has a child or children. Those may not be my birth children, but I'm still adding a dynamic to their lives. I still have a level of responsibility to them. No one thinks or cares about that. Nobody. So now I got time to sit and nitpick about what he does or doesn't do with mine. Meanwhile, if I really sat and didn't really have to think that hard, he already showed me the dynamic of who he is and what he's able to do and what he's incapable of doing. So in my opinion, there wasn't that it was poor judgment. That's just straight stupidity. Because when God allows you to see what's already happening, you still say, I'm gonna see for myself. And then now you see for yourself and now you complaining? No. Look, the dog don't agree.
Even the dog bark. Even the dog barking that. Even the dog barking that angry.
The dog don't agree.
It must be a female dog. That's a female dog you got.
No, it's a male dog. Puppy, man.
Well, now we know why he's barking, Brother Al. All right, let me read some of these comments so people in the chat room don't think we forgot about them. Renee says, right past the step, she should be held accountable for what she does with what she's given. Yvette says, I agree. Serge says, let's change it a little bit. What about when he is not the child's father, comes to find out she cheated with someone else, but he was put on child support? We're not talking about that, Serge. Because that's just trifling altogether. We ain't bringing that into the equation. Shanti's not buckwheat. Ha ha ha. Anika says, I agree for more accountability for the mother. I can stay in an account. I put it in the account for the kids. Renee says, Shanti's 100%. Facts. Anika says, facts. Anika says, yes, Shanti's. I used to say that all the time. I never wanted to be part of the baby mama lineup. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a situation where everybody is walking with their eyes wide open. And at the end of the day, we are crying an injustice. How does that work? I asked this question 45 minutes ago, and now it's being presented. We are looking across the table, trying to figure out why she's allowed or he's allowed when we are not first taking accountability for us, for my own indiscretions. Bad judgment, stupidity, whatever we want to call it. It's all something that I saw or I should have seen because it was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Do
Pastor
you
Steph,
not
what's funny?
ask her? Wait, well, let me ask you a question. Do you not ask her men? This conversation never comes up. How's she getting her money? She never goes to work. But do you ever ask her how she getting the money? How she taking care of them kids? Y'all never ask that question?
Well, the first thing with me, I was always the first baby daddy. So you didn't see all the other stuff. I was first baby daddy. You know.
Okay. So then you had a right to get that 17% each time. In other words,
right. And like I said, I hold myself accountable because again, being young and dumb, you know, I ain't afraid to say it. Being young and dumb, running these streets like a crazy man, I dealt myself a hand. You know what I'm saying? And I had to deal with it. You know, so you know that I take full responsibility for that. But I wasn't, you know, number 2 daddy, number 3 daddy. No, I wasn't doing that because I tried to tell my crazy nephew. He was with this woman and she told me she want to have a baby with him. They living in Florida, but she got a 9-year-old son that's staying here in New York, living with the mother. And I said, bruh, I said she not taking care of the first one. Why is her son with her mother and not with y'all then if that's the case? He mumbling something, then he went on and had a baby with him, and now, he going.
He sees the indiscretion.
Yeah, he going through it. And I said, well, I tried to tell you, bro, because again, like you said, as we get older, we get more mature. But those are things that you got to see because, and what people don't think too, there are some laws in some state. I'm not sure if it's in New York, but they say all my kids are grown now, which is good. But if my kids was little, and I was struggling to pay child support, me and Tamika get married. Now I bought Tamika my nonsense because they're going to garnish some of her money as well.
Yes, that has happened. That has happened.
So you know, all this stuff come into play. And I Tamika pissed off at me. Tamika pissed off at me because her money going to a child that's not hers.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is true. Yes,
but that's part of why Yandy Smith didn't legalize things with her husband. Because of his criminal retribution that he had to pay, and she feared that his previous children's mothers was going to try to come for her money. Yeah. So they had the ceremony, but they weren't legally married because she was like, "I'm not paying for your stuff."
We gonna wait till that kid get 18, then we're.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a fact. There have been couples who got married, and now their money, when they ask him to produce his numbers, it is their numbers that he has to put on that paper. It is not because he's not single anymore. And to me, it's extremely unfair. But you know, that's the way it goes. But nobody answered my question. When y'all start having these babies with these girls, ain't nobody asking no questions as to how you take care of these kids. I see you don't go to work every day. Ain't nobody asking these questions?
They ask the questions because I get the explanation, and I ain't got no dollar in nobody's dream. How are you able to break it down to me, but now you acting oblivious when now it shows that you the fool, and now she's doing this to you? Because now you able to tell me, yeah, because the previous baby father didn't do this and he had to do that. So you just found that out yesterday? Nah, because we heard I was walking before with it. So you still had a kid. Even with some of them even spoke to the previous fathers. Oh yeah, because you know we were shopping it up one time and he told me such, and yet you still. So you just thought you were that special. You was just a pimp of the year. She would do all this to them, but when it came to you, she was gonna honor, obey, and all of that. No, they asked the conversations come up, because how are you able to give an outside of the breakdown if they don't come up?
Well, unfortunately, the end result to that question of should his money be cut? No. You made it. If that's the standard, you went in with your eyes wide open, and you now have to do what you need to do. That's almost like in our spiritual life. Are we going to hold somebody else accountable for what we do or we don't do? When the Bible clearly tells us that when Jesus returns, there'll be two in the bed. One will be taken and one will be left. This ain't no joint venture. You're not gonna be blamed for something that somebody else did or somebody else's negligence. You're going to be held accountable for your decisions. So if that's the case, then I advise you men to walk with your eyes wide open. Now, in this case, you men are all married. So, you know, that, and you're Christian men, but you can't make, I'm sorry, you can't make a defense
And we
for men
own.
that are ungodly or making bad decisions.
You own. Speak for yourself.
Not, shut up, Al. You older than I am.
You right on my heels. You right on my heel. Hey, Pastor Steph, I'm sorry. I gotta go because I got a doctor.
No, we're closing down. Okay. I want to say thank you to all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your week and the due time rest. We love you all. Thank you for your contribution into today's conversation. We pray you have a blessed rest of your week. Enjoy. See you guys, man. See you Monday.
Happy New Year.
Take care.
All righty. We got a last comment. Wow, so you got the men paying for you being young and dumb because you wanted to be the first. Laugh out loud from Terrence. Renee says, great show. Thank you very much. You know, Pastor KL sent in the video. We ended up with a bang for this calendar year. You know, we give God thanks for all of you who participated, you know, for all of you who just hung out with us today. You know, we wore some people out, and that's okay. That's okay. You're going to hang with us. You're going to hang with us. If you can't, then thank you so much for the time you've spent. We give God thanks. I say join the conversation. We can talk. You know, this is a wonderful platform that God has provided us with. You know, we ultimately, we're talking about responsibility, and boy, oh boy, God has been talking about this responsibility thing for months now. My closing has been extended because we're ultimately talking about responsibility. How are we handling what we are being handed? Too much is given, much is required. We cannot take on a responsibility, then complain at the back end of something that somebody else is not doing, something that someone else is doing. You know, last week we got in trouble with one of our visitors because he didn't want to hear us say stop having sex. Well, guess what? That's my answer to today. You talking about your argument was a woman has 5 kids and she's getting support for all those 5 kids without any expectation from the government. They're just giving her. But yet the man can make 5 children, and you are being held responsible and accountable to the degree that they may even put you in jail. Should you be put in jail? That still never was answered, actually. We talk about the productivity of your life and your contribution into the child support bucket if you are put in jail. But we never quite got to, should he be put in jail because it's considered a crime not to pay child support? Should you be making kid after kid after kid, you know, if you don't have the proper education to get a proper job in order to pay for kid after kid after kid? If you're not a surgeon, a brain surgeon, if you ain't an astronaut or a rocket scientist, if you ain't a big time Johnny Cochran lawyer, if you ain't got the big bucks, I say hold off and don't do anything because baby, oops is yesterday's news. Oops is yesterday's news. All right, because once it's done, it's done. You're dealing with a world now where women cannot have abortions. So for those who used to use abortions as contraception, that's now out the window. When you thought it was so great and you didn't want to put on something or use something, then now you're mad because you are being held accountable. My personal feeling is the two shall remain separate. If she's having 5 children, shame on her. I don't care whether she's getting child support or not. Who in these days and times can afford to have 5 kids and not struggle? You see people with 1 kid struggle. The cost of life is skyrocketing, but our salaries and our income is not shifting at that same rate. So who in the world is listen, I'm even going there to say married people. So now you say, well, Pastor Steph, how you going to talk about married people? Because I'm tired of watching married people struggle. Married people ain't making no better decisions than unmarried couples. How in the world you are going to take care of these 5 kids when you two have a cap on the ability to make a certain amount of money? See, I ask those hard questions. Yesterday, I asked the question, are you moving ahead of God? The Bible clearly tells us who builds a house without counting up the cost. Ain't that the same thing? How do we plan to have these big families and you got a high school diploma education, when now they're mandating, whether you can use this thing or not, they're mandating that we have degrees, college degrees, and that's going to give a boost to your income. And she now, in order to even go to work, the amount of money, Vivian did socially conscious on the fact that childcare is costing more than college tuition. Ain't nobody thought about none of this stuff here. So can you even afford to go to work opposed to you running a daycare center? Because that's going to bring you in more money. The 2 brains put together didn't figure this out. And now you're having marital problems because your finances are so tight. Now you're having marital problems because he ain't spending enough time with you and the kids. No, he can't spend enough time with you and the kids because he got to work 24 hours a day just to support. Now, we can't live in an apartment because it's now 7 of us. How does that work? You got to get a house. And in order to get a house, you got to qualify for the house. If you qualify for the house, now you got to pay mortgage and utilities and repairs. And oh my God, it just spirals into something huge. So my question becomes, even married people are not making the best decisions. That God gives a level of, decency and order. And are we bringing our children into these situations that Shanti said it, where they are now going to suffer? We talked about it yesterday. How it's you make that first wrong decision, and now in trying to correct the decision, you subsequently unintentionally make a bad decision. I'm not beating you up for that, but what I'm saying to you is, what I will beat you up for is, are you allowing God to dictate what you do? We now get married and we want to have more children. It's a wonderful thing that he wants to have children with me and she wants to have children with me. It's a wonderful thing. But those children that already exist, what is it going to do to them? Should we just eliminate that concern because we know what's best? Well, I'm sure that couple from yesterday's story thought that they knew what was best as well. And now they are down 2 children, not just 1, 2. 1, because he's messed up for life. He's messed up. Yeah, you say, well, God can change anything. Yeah, but he's never going to forget that he killed his sister. Even if he becomes repentant, even if he forgives himself because he understands that God forgave him for what he did when he was 10, you have to live with that thing. That's something that you'll never forget. So now, if you don't err on the side of taking God as the head of your life, then your life is messed up forever. Because now, does that mean he becomes drug addicted, alcohol addicted, or some other kind of addiction? Or now he becomes mentally unstable because he has to live with that because he has not decided to give his life to Christ? Listen, either way, he has to deal with that. Look at the parents. That's a lot to walk away from, because you'll always ask yourself, did I do the right thing? Did I not think of this? Did I not think of that? What had I done this, or what had we done this? All of those things become a thought, a part of your thought. So yeah. When we thinking about she having 5 kids and he having 5 kids. Now, the concept wasn't given where they have 5 kids together. So he didn't populated this earth with 5 additional kids, and now he mad because there's some of a responsibility. She is going to live off the system because she can't do much more. Because she's got to put a kid. How do you? Because see, my theory is go to work. But I'm going to tell you something. I was a single parent. And I have 5 kids. But let me tell you something. That juggling ain't no joke. How do you have 5 kids and go to work without a support system? I thank God every day for my parents, because they were my support system. They would pick the kids up. They would drop the kids off. They would do all kinds of things to help me. They didn't help me financially because that was not my issue. I was always capable of making my own money and paying my own bills. They helped me with the kids. And there was a time when I broke both my ankles and I couldn't walk. But I had 2 kids that had to go to school. Well, one was in, and one had to go to school. I could facilitate that on my own. So when you have these 5 kids, mama, are you leaving room for, God forbid, this unforeseen anything? You get sick, it's one of the kids get sick, and now you got to know, how do we even juggle all of this? So to even say to send them to work is a great idea. Don't misunderstand me. But the juggling of, this one got to be picked up at 6 o'clock, this one got to be, then that means you got to find child care for all of them, whether it's before school, after school, or now you got to put this one in charge of this one, and this one go pick up that one. Baby, that in and of itself is a job. So nobody's thinking. So his question, in my opinion, I'm erring on the side of, you just handle what you need to do. If you stupid enough to be out here making 5 kids and you ain't thinking about the fact that you gonna be paying 17% per child, because I haven't done the math on 17%, but if I do 20%, if I just up it a little bit and do 20%, that's 100%. 5 times 20 is 100%. What do you have? What do you have? Because see, remember, I'm telling you, when I got the child support papers, I did my responsibility was to give what you were taking, what we were taking from you from this job. Again, had nothing to do with what was going on the outside. Just this job. I didn't say, well, he has 5 other kids, so, minus that ain't got nothing to do with my numbers. Now that gets submitted now, as Pastor KL said, they're right. They have to submit their own information. But are you going to put yourself in that situation? That's the question that I want to ask him. So don't lock him up, because it's going to stop the fact that he can provide. Yeah. Well, when you're on the outside and you're providing, at one point, you're going to have to stop providing, because ain't nothing going to be left. It's going to leave you destitute. And as a company, I could not take you below the poverty level. I had to stop at a point. But you don't think about that? Come on. Let's talk about being responsible for our actions. Because at the end of the day, that's what God is going to hold us accountable for. Actions. I love the point Shanti brought up. Did you add to another child's mental breakdown? Now he has to share. I'm going to take the child that I'm making and put him into a household, because that's the question that I asked the person that I was talking to. You putting this kid into, y'all ain't got 2 pennies to rub together. Ain't nobody thought about that? You gonna complain about her not taking care of the first 2, but you willingly, intentionally had a child. God wants us to be responsible for what we are doing, what we have every bit of ability to plan and to think. Think long term. Don't think for right now. And what we're finding is, as we've done news all year, as a wrap up to 2025, what we saw in our, whether it was somebody killing the kids, we saw so many dads killing kids, moms killing kids. We talked about grandma doing things. We talked about kids killing other kids. We talked about the bullying factor. We talked about people killing others and then killing themselves. We've talked about so much this 2025. And if I have to wrap this year up with any piece of advice, the piece of advice I would give you is to understand your level of responsibility. Understand what God needs from you. I can't very well control what anyone else does. I don't care what we talk about. I don't care how many plans we make, whether we're married, not married, friends, mama and daughter, dad and son. I can only converse with you about what we do. But how many times have we made plans with people? I don't care who the other person is, who the other people are, and somebody doesn't keep up with their end of the deal. And now my whole world falls apart because I thought you were going to do what you said you were going to do. Sometimes it's unintentional. Sometimes it's negligence. It's anybody's guess. But one thing I can control is what Stephanie does and what Stephanie doesn't do. I am very disinterested in hearing about what the next person is not doing. I have always preached, stop looking across the table and look in the mirror, because that's the only person I have accountability for, first and foremost. If I have children, I got to really be particular about the decisions that I make. Because at the end of the day, whatever decisions I make, those children got to eat my decisions. And unfortunately, as parents, like I said, unintentional, the best laid plans, whatever, there are some things that slip through the cracks. That's because we don't plan properly. We don't think about everything. And now our children are bearing the brunt of our decisions. And I spoke about it here myself. I've made decisions. And like years down the line, I'm like, oh, Stephanie, with all of your high and mighty you can do, and all it takes is you and God, Did you make the right decision? Couldn't you have done that better? Please let my mistake be your lesson. Remember, go back to the scriptures that I gave yesterday. A prudent person listens to wise advice. You don't have to step up in that hole. There's nothing in the word of God that says you gotta learn by making dumb decisions. No, it says a wise person learns from good advice. You don't have to prove anything by doing it yourself. How many times I've heard people say, well, you know what, they had to do it in order for them to learn. No. My Bible doesn't tell me that. My Bible tells me that God does everything in decency and in order. Will we be perfect? Absolutely not. Does the Bible tell us to rejoice during times of trials and tribulations because it builds endurance, it builds perseverance, blah, blah, blah. But that does not mean that I can hear, that I can do better. I can hear that there's a better way to get this done. But yet, I'm going to make my own decision and step up in that hole. I literally had someone ask me that. Can we just, I know you always preach, learn from other people's mistakes, but why you just can't leave us to walk into our own hole and learn? Who logically wants to live like that? Do you realize it's a blessing for good advice to cross your path? That God is trying to bring you out of darkness into his marvelous light? Do you realize it's a gift for God to show you something and that you are aware of it, you like, wow, thank you, I see it. That's a blessing. It's a curse from the enemy to believe that I can step into holes and learn, and I step into those holes intentionally, regardless of what I've been advised of, regardless of whether I've done the proper research, regardless of whether I'm impulsive, but I'm going to learn from this thing without first thinking of the consequences. Because when we have to deal with the consequences, we don't know how long it's going to take for us to emerge on a good level. How long is it going to take for us to get out the mud before we stand on our own 2 feet and move forward? Time is going by. We can't get that time back. When we standing still because we can't move because of a decision, or when we going backwards because we can't go forward because of a decision. God does not want that for our life. And if anybody is telling you that, then you need to pick up the word of God and truly read it and make application into your life. My word to you at the end of this calendar year is seek God first before you do anything. He is the author and the finisher of who you are. He is the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. He created you. And despite what you may have been told as a child, despite what somebody may have made you feel like, you have been fearfully and wonderfully made. God made you for a reason, with a reason, and intentional. There's a point to your life. Don't let someone else help you throw it away. Don't even let your own spirit help you throw your life away. God didn't get you here, bring you here so that you can perish. He says that I wish that everyone would make it. I don't want to see anyone perish. He wants the best for you. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made. He didn't forget about you. Before you were born, I shaped you in the womb. Before you were born and shaped in the womb, I knew your name. You are not here today. You are not here, and God does not realize that you're here. Oops, I forgot about Stephanie. No. But if you have been listening to Pastor Steph and the Due Time crew, there is intent for your life. You have not stumbled or been brought to us or however you got here for nothing. We preach life. Life that Christ gave his life for. He says, I came so that you would not just live, but live abundantly. He does not want us walking around as the walking dead and walking around aimlessly scratching our head. He gets no glory out of that. None. There's an intent that God has for your life. Why don't you go to him and find out why he even created you? What did you create me to do, Father? Stop thinking you can live without God and everything that you think is going well will continue to go well because you're living underneath what you're supposed to be living underneath. You're supposed to be living above, not beneath. But until you seek God, you'll never see it. You'll never know it. It'll always feel like, I can live with this. This is okay. I'm sorry. Okay is not good enough for me any longer. Okay was good enough for me before I decided to give God my life. And the more I live in God, the sweeter it is than the day before. I'm getting to see each day more and more why God has Stephanie here. Doesn't mean that there's not waves of, boy, I'm tired. Waves of I'm sick and tired. Waves of I'm sick of people. I'm sick of things. I'm sick of situations. Does not mean that I don't have any of those emotions. But Ecclesiastes tells us there's a time for everything. That there is a beginning and there is an end. We're not supposed to get there and stay there. But the only way is to go to God. God. So come on. Don't let this day go out. Forget about this year. Don't let this day go out. And we have not said, God, I belong to you. I've heard all that I needed to hear. I've listened to everything that I've needed to hear. And you know what? I need an enhancement in my life. That what I am right now, I know it can get better because I have not included you. But I'm tired of hearing that it can't get better. I want to see this thing. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not going to go through some things. That would be a lie. But there's a level in which you go through everything that's much different than if you don't know God. There's a peace during the storm. There's comfort and rest when everybody else is chaotic. Shantice reminded me, when there would be big storms and thunder and lightning and all this crackling and boom and all of these kind of things would be going on. She said, she used to call or come to me and be like, Ma, you don't hear all that outside? And she said, I would just look over at her and say, well, if God was ahead of your life, if you had God in your life, you wouldn't be worried about it. And she said, she'd be scrambling internally and shaking, and I'd be sitting there so peacefully. That's life in the Lord. That's life in the Lord. That's life in the Lord. That although there are times when, something sparks you and you like, oh, there's a wave of peace that comes over you. I invite you to join me in that peace. You ain't gonna know no peace like this, because this particular peace, only Jesus can give. He says, bring me all of your burdens. Bring me all of your burdens, and I will give you rest. If you don't bring it to him, then you won't know about that rest. So come on. Don't let the day go out. I am so happy, and I rejoice in the fact that we have spent 365 years in 2025. And no matter what news we brought you as a unit, no matter what our experiences were, we are still here to tell the story. I give God thanks for not just me, but for your life. I give God thanks that you're here with me. Thank you so much for helping me do what I do. Thank you for helping us do what we do. Thank you so much for just helping us get up every day to minister to you, and you remind us as to why we do this thing. Thank you for the countless conversations we've had. Thank you for your chiming in, whether you agreed, whether you disagreed, whether we laughed, whether we cried together, no matter what. We were on this journey together for 2025. We started February 3rd, 2025 as a morning show on YouTube and Facebook. Prior to that, we were all audio. But our first Monday after coming off of Block Talk was February 3rd. And we thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for just being a part of our lives all this time. And we give God thanks for you. We pray that you enjoy the rest of your week, that you have a safe rest of your week. Please be safe. Please be watchful as you're driving. Remember, you're not driving for you. You're driving for all other ones out here. We pray that God gives you and grants you traveling mercies. We pray that as you gather and you come together and you spend time with family for whatever the reason is, we pray that as you go into church service and you go, and you're just sharing time with one other person, we pray that God is in the midst of it and that you will always celebrate God. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are just here Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off. And I want to thank my Do Time crew for always coming through the big time. I want to thank you for always helping us do what we do and keeping that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Again, I pray that you enjoy the rest of your week. I look forward to you and I being together one more time. God spares the first Monday of 2026. God spare our life. Until then, I love you.